Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Break Room Podcast. This is Friday, October 28th, and it is the 1-year anniversary of the Break Room Podcast.
1 year!
What?
We made it.
It's been
1
1
year.
year.
What?
Holy shit.
2 years.
What?
3 years.
What?
4 years.
What?
Tequila.
What?
What? Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary.
Broken skull. What?
Fucking broken skulls are good, you know, but I can't believe it. 1 year, we've finally hit the first milestone of the Break Room Podcast. We got all 4 members with us today.
Back, baby.
You know, none of this remote or one of us is missing bullshit this week. We got some good stuff. We had an outing a couple weeks back.
This whole fucking month we've had a lot of shit.
We've had a lot of shit
done a lot
going
of good
on.
shit.
October and recap
Like
between all of your
separately,
cons.
just
So
not
we went
privy
to
to
we
new
went to
shit,
the
dude.
Bret Hart wrestling show. So
Yeah.
that was really
Great.
cool.
Yeah.
It was to benefit. What was it again? It was like
It was like the town of
Nassau County Police Department.
Nassau County
yeah.
Police Department.
I
That's
think it
what
was. I think it was actually like paramedics who help cops or something. It was like
Yeah.
a specific
something like that.
like healthcare
Well,
workers.
I mean, there was like 500 people there, and Chris, by far, you were the best looking
The
person in the room.
best looking.
I don't know.
It's
If,
on
I don't
record.
know, just
Can we get
as
that
a-
story? I want
Yeah.
that story. I want to hear
I'll
that.
fucking tell it.
Not
you
only
can
did he tell it
So
to
out
me,
of
but he had
500
to turn
people
and
in a
tell Vin as
capacity
well.
crowd,
you know.
including Bret Hart, Chris was the best looking person in the entire room, according to Chris.
No lie was told. When
it
you
was a
look around
fucking
the
really
room,
cool-
No lie, we're told.
Hey.
He said it.
when you
So
looked
in our
around the
lifetimes,
room,
we got to see Bret Hart in the ring.
That's true. Yeah.
Not that he fought, but he was in the ring.
yeah,
And
he gave us a nice little speech.
we
Yeah,
got
he
to
did.
see the Dudley Boys reunited for the first time in 5 years in the ring.
that
Yeah,
was
that was
something.
awesome.
Pretty
that's
insane that happened like
didn't
in our
happen at a
backyard,
big
you know,
event.
like-
Yeah, happened right in front of us about 5
I'm really
feet
happy
away.
that Bret Hart kind of talked about like his history about his grandfather and his mother, who's actually Long Island natives, unlike Shawn Michaels, who's from Texas, because he's a piece of shit.
Oh Jesus! what was it?
Joe-
5?
but
that's-
Joe's
that's-
already spitting
Hold
the
on,
woke
there's
stuff.
also
what
fucking
happens when
video
It's a tradition.
evidence on our channel of Chris Sweet bowing down to Bret Hart when they entered the ring.
It was never
sure.
a dichotomy of.
I paid him his homage.
Yeah.
You
Damn right you
know,
did.
I've
I
never
believe you
taken
did.
anything
Chris
away from
likes
Brett.
Bret Hart, but he also likes Shawn Michaels, and you just can't accept
Well,
that.
yeah, I will say you
Accept
can
that.
see that Brett doesn't exactly have the mic skills. You know, he's up
No.
there.
Vin-
He's a little uncomfortable.
Vin-
He
He's
was always a
showman.
little
He's
quiet.
doing what he
you know.
can.
He let his
65.
wrestling
But I
be talking
appreciate
over the
it, yeah.
years.
Can I
No,
mention
appreciate
too?
He was a
Bret
little
Hart?
choked up too.
He
kinda
was,
was a little,
yeah.
getting a little teary-eyed.
He appreciated
One
it
thing
right
that was funny, I saw. I just saw the headline. It was
Don't
like
do it.
Bret Hart says that Goldberg should be removed from the Hall of Fame. I saw that, and then
Yes.
I saw Bret Hart.
Now, what's his
now
reasoning for
today said that
He
Goldberg
should be in the Hall of Shame.
should be in a Hall of Shame.
Oh my god!
On top of it all,
Jesus.
Goldberg's just like, I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say.
I saw a funny joke actually. It was like somebody was telling a story. They were like, "Yeah, I was security for Brett, and I was helping him out, this and that." And he turned to me and he said,
Fuck
"Well,
Goldberg.
thank you for protecting me way more than Bill Goldberg."
Oh,
That might be one of those
That's
internet
fucking
stories. I don't know.
Dude,
what it's called.
That is just like Bret Hart was actually trending on Twitter the last few days because of like all the memes that they're kind of making out of this. Like they're
On the comeback, man. I love it.
it's fucking hilarious.
And it's funny, we've been
great.
talking about it for this whole year.
Yeah,
literally for a
Steadily,
year,
yeah.
we've been talking about Bret Hart and
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels.
on account of Joe. And
just
Joe
like-
set that whole event up, so thank you, Joe,
Yeah.
for getting
That
us
was a
all
good time.
together. That was
Yes.
the first time I
Finally
was
got the
back
Dudley
out.
Boys autograph, so that was really cool. I
That
should've
was
brought
awesome,
that down,
too.
but-
That was, and he looked fucking good, dude. Fucking-
Yeah.
He was
Bubba's 52 and he's the TRT is paying off, man.
slammed the shit. They slammed the shit out of that guy, and then that was really cool when they got the kid up there, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bubba,
Yeah.
oh no,
We'll get some
Bubba-
Yeah, it was
footage
a
of that
kid
up
that
on
was
the
in the
channel.
ring, and then there was the dude in the chair that he gave the other piece of the table to, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that was a really fun event, and that's why we weren't around for that week. And tonight, I just want to give a shout out to my boy CJ because he's fighting with the NYWC SWA right now.
Nice.
Oh,
And
that's
he's,
tonight.
He's fighting for
Yeah,
the
he's in the main
championship
event.
tonight. yeah,
Awesome.
against
Love it.
Pancakes, and he's my brother, and I love him.
Hey!
I'm wishing him good luck.
Just
in
want to
his match.
the man himself.
CJ. Good luck, bud. We love you.
Can't lose to nobody named Pancakes.
We also got Zach.
He's just got to flip him, you know.
Founding father.
Founding father Zach is in the chat.
Oh,
Said, "Let's
Zach.
go, boys!
There we go.
1
Zach
year."
Attack. We got the 5
Appreciate
together.
you,
Back
bud.
on here.
1 year.
Give you a little snake bite there.
Zach was a pivotal part in the formulation of
kicking this thing off, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
100%.
started with a dream. Me and Zach in the break room, literally.
Used to read Word
And
Up
then
magazine.
I came over to you. You
Salt
were
and
the first
pepper,
person.
heavy
I was
D
like,
up in
I
the
want it
limousine.
And then Joe was there. He's like, I'm going to be on the
I'm
fucking
gonna be
show.
on the
Like,
show.
yeah, sure.
Let's go.
And
Let's
then
do it.
Chris
And then-
was the last minute addition and invaluable member that
Yeah,
he
Joe
is.
was at work. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do a podcast." I was,
Chris
"You
felt excluded
cocksuckers,
as
you
fuck.
better."
Chris was
Well, me and
pissed.
Vin have been talking about it for years.
true. We've
so-
done
Listen,
we've
we
done
can't-
our little
Been
ones
very-
too.
Chris, we
dude.
could never have a podcast without the best looking person in a room full of
true.
500 people.
It's true.
Tough.
I mean,
you
there's
gotta
no
bring-
way.
You
I
gotta,
mean,
somebody's got to bring in the female
somebody's gotta bring in the
demographic
female.
with the-
Yet we still have
Chris
none.
is
But
You know what I
insinuating
wanna
that he's
do?
better looking than me, which I don't know.
Here's a
He's
pipe
got
dream.
300,000 followers.
I sure as hell don't have that. Nor will I ever.
We got to do a live show. We got to do a live show in front of an audience one day. That would be the real fucking dream.
Oh, that would be great.
Only if Tricky Ricky is
Can
amongst
get there.
the
We gotta
crowd.
fly
Tricky
him out
Ricky
here.
is
We
in the
gotta fly him
house.
out.
He's been with us since the
Honorary
fucking
member
start.
of the podcast.
Honorary member of the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hell
absolutely. This is why we do it. I mean,
He's
to be
been
honest,
in more episodes than all of us.
You see- yeah.
but no, it is a big thank you to you guys for joining us every week, friends, and people that we don't know directly, because it's what motivates us to keep going. It's tough to do it if it was just us and it wasn't getting anywhere. But for people to be coming in week after week and joining us, we wanted it to be live so we could include people in this show and have an impact on the show. So we really do. I can't
And the
overstate
best part
how
is
much we
it's
appreciate
an
it.
excuse for us to all hang out because we're all genuinely friends in real life. So
That's
it's not like, a chore
It's
to
very
do this.
difficult to do this.
Chris
said
can't
it-
hang out with anybody. He's too busy.
No, Chris is a
I
busy guy.
I'm the only one who hasn't missed a fucking episode.
That is
What?
the point.
You've missed episodes.
I've never missed
He's never
an
missed
episode.
one
I've
show.
never missed
Chris has
one
never missed a
fucking
show because it couldn't be live.
Exactly.
We've
So,
done
fucking-
reaction videos.
Now
we've
I
done
want
other
my
shit.
fucking
Wait a minute. Wait a
Bret
minute.
Hart
Wait a
fucking-
minute. Wait a minute.
Try to recall where.
A
we
reaction.
talked
I
about
missed a reaction video on fucking Sunday night. When I'm fucking with my girlfriend. Last second, you guys want to do a show.
But I mean, that's accuracy, though. And there was a show that me and Vin did that never made the air. That was
That was
actually
my
really
fault.
good.
That was my
But,
fault. I
listen,
recorded it in the wrong format. Couldn't get the audio into Final Cut.
I digress.
yeah.
Listen.
But
We've all put.
hey, we fucking made it.
been a lot-
we've
it's
all
been
put
a
a
lot
I
lot
of
missed
of
a
fun.
few, but that's
It's been a
because
lot
I
of fun.
travel because I have like other shit.
Listen, yeah, you have all the
going on
excuses
to-
in the world. Come on,
Between
bro.
all the
You have
toy
best
hunts,
ex-
all the equipment, we spent a fucking fortune this year.
yeah.
All the Baja Blasts. You know.
Lot of Baja.
A lot of Baja
Gallons
Blasts were lost
on
on that.
gallons.
We should be sponsored by
Gallons and
Taco Bell at this
gallons.
point.
Hey,
although,
Taco Bell.
honestly,
It would just be me.
If Nachos Bel Grande didn't get me fucking sponsored, then nothing
That's
will.
true.
Jeez, come on.
Yeah.
That's true. They should though. They should throw us a little fucking.
I want to
you wanna-
fucking put that on a
just need, like,
If
t-shirt.
a
you
gift
want to
card.
be sponsored by that, you need to fucking review Taco Bell menu items as the
Ooh,
real
I
life
like
Peter
that.
Griffin and do that every time.
I don't
they
know
come
if
out
he
with a
needs
new-
that, bro.
Give
This
me
guy-
an excuse to order one of
Yeah,
everything on the
geez.
menu. Get the fuck out of here.
No, I mean, you do that anyway, but just fucking put a
So
camera
we're
in
on
front
our
of your
fourth
face.
Crunchwrap Supreme, and consistency is
Chicken
there.
quesadilla, steak quesadilla, cheese quesadilla.
We got a chicken fajita here.
Nacho fries, not my fries. Nacho fries.
And we've gone a couple of places. We
Nacho
hope
fries.
to go more places, but Zach actually mentioned that he was upset to hear that the pizza crawl in the boroughs was a little
It
disappointing.
was a little lackluster because obviously DeForest has fallen far from grace.
Yeah, there's a-
King
far
is
from the
dead.
truth, you know.
Bro,
But that's
based
the
on-
theme of the
based
show
on
is
the-
that nothing's as good as it used to be.
Viserius
Based
is
on the
dead.
comments, nothing is as good as it used to be, and I keep commenting like,
Would
used
you
to
say
be
that L&B
that-
Smony Gardens
the best
holds up to
times.
from when you were a kid?
About 90% of it.
It's
90%.
fucking good. I
So
enjoy-
even like there's a
yeah.
10%
It's just-
gap that we're missing, even on the one that lived up to its expectations.
And then all the haters on the comments that could go fuck themselves.
But I gotta say,
Oh,
Da Vinci's
you
pie
do
was like a
fuck
classic
you.
Brooklyn pie. Like you can't go wrong with Da
Delicious.
Vinci's. I honestly think we should take a trip back to 18th Avenue. We can go back to Da Vinci's,
There's
and
a
then
lot of other
we should
places
go
in
back to
18th
the
Avenue.
Alba Bakery because that place has the
Was
best
good?
fucking cannolis you could possibly
Yeah,
get.
I'm sorry I missed that one.
Fucked
I
up.
got fucked, but
While
It's
we're
all right.
acknowledging
It's a tough
comments here too,
Just an excuse to go back.
Rob Lady Whispers is here. Says specifically real life Peter Griffin. It's Princess Leia here.
Princess Leia.
Yeah,
Oh
Lady,
shit!
Lady Whispers, Princess Leia.
Hey, how you doing?
Is that
So-
was
Yo,
she
thanks
dressed
for
as
joining,
Leia at a
thanks for
con?
joining.
Hold on. Let me pull up YouTube here.
Rob's
Pull it
pulling
up.
it up. So while Rob's pulling that up, what else have we been doing over the last? I don't know. What did we do over the last year? We've done so much shit.
A lot.
We did Comic-Con. Rob at Comic-Con is a fucking sight to behold always. Every time I see it, I'm
Went
shocked.
to multiple cons this year.
Yeah, he's been all over.
I had a good run this year, considering I took 2 years off. You know,
You didn't take 2 years off. The whole fucking universe took 2 years off.
I was gonna honestly, and I said this
You're gonna
multiple
hang it up?
times. I was gonna take a couple of years off anyway.
That's
Hang up
true.
the green
Because
pants.
when it was like December of
Not the
2019,
shirt,
I did
clearly.
WinterCon, and I was starting to get like really burnt out from all the shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna take cons off for a while because I was finding I had difficulty getting like bookings. It'd be like, oh, we just had you and this and that.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot with cons. So I figured let him miss me for a little bit.
Smart.
Let me be gone
Yeah,
for a
just
couple of
Because
weeks.
the
Hard-
fucking
hard
crowd
founder,
loves it every fucking time.
Oh, God.
Wrestling
And,
con.
I mean, I did so much shit this year. We did the wrestling con.
That was great.
We did Eternal Con. I
saw
did
Kevin
Garden State
Smith.
Comic Fest. We did the Secret Stash 25th
Look at that.
Met
anniversary.
Kevin Smith. Met Bret Hart.
Mick Foley.
Mick Foley. I
Yeah.
didn't see Mick Foley.
Dudley
Yeah,
Boyz.
that was
I actually went over and said hi to
I met
Foley
Dr.
at
Disrespect.
whatchamacallit?
Fucking,
Yeah, that's
New York
true.
Comic Con.
Yeah. Disrespect.
Disrespect. That's right.
Well, when we could also talk about just think about how much the look of the show has changed too from the first episode. We used to have
It's
fucking
evolved.
George
I mean,
Washington.
we weren't live when we first started out.
George
you know?
We
Washington.
weren't live.
Bridge.
We had fucking
We had
Betsy
Mrs.
Ross and
Washington.
George Washington
Major
looking over
Digging
our
Old
shoulders.
School
lamps.
I do love the old background because of all the
authentic.
Easter eggs. You know what I mean?
This,
It's
you know,
like we
everybody
didn't-
wants to say what their version of the fucking 80s is, and it looks like fucking
It
a
looks-
Taco Bell in the 90s.
It's this
but
wood
this
paneling.
is really what the 80s looked like.
This is Chevy Chase's house in fucking National Lampoons. You
This
know what I'm
is
saying? This
100%
straight
what an
out
80s
of that.
basement looked like, because we bought this house in 1989 and we never changed anything.
Never
changed anything. The only things that changed was
Collected every-
like, we
It's
had a
true
flood.
too. Anytime we want to hey, let's fucking hang up a picture or something. Rob's
No.
like, I'm not fucking changing one
Nothing's
thing.
touching.
It's still
No
my
touch.
father's basement, you know. It's still his shit, you know. This was his
That's right.
part of the basement, and
true.
you know, the basement was not my mother's.
We're lucky that he
domain.
lets you put all
That
these
was
toys
the living
around
room
it.
and the dining room and the kitchen. That was her
The
domain.
basement podcast. That's it.
But the basement, you know, and you know, it's kind of ironic that I have a show with my friends in the basement because it's kind of how I was born. My dad's cousin Jimmy used to shoot variety shows in his basement back in 1968
Right, I've seen some of that.
with some of the first recording equipment that was made. He was one of four
He's using
people
a
in the
Zapruder
entire
8
city
millimeter there.
that was able to tape shit off of television in the fucking 60s.
Wow.
So he was
high tech.
recording shit off of television, like live performances from like musical guests, and he was really creating Saturday Night Live before Saturday Night Live existed.
Yep.
And he was airing it at these public theaters that Lorne Michaels was known to frequent.
Like
so
Chicago,
it's possible
New
that
York.
Saturday Night Live was inspired by my cousin Jimmy, who was shooting sketch comedies and putting live musical guests
It was
on his
fucking
show.
Jimmy.
Funny
Jimmy!
how.
It's fucking Jimmy.
Funny
So
how.
my parents
Clown, I
met doing
amuse
this
you?
variety show, and then, you know,
Here you are. Here we are.
Bing,
All those
bang,
drugs
boom.
are making you money in
So
the
now
mush.
I'm making a show in my basement with my friends, and
Yeah.
it's fucking
That is
And
a
we're
full-
live. We're
And we're
live.
live.
Nothing
We're on
can
the
go
internet.
wrong.
Live.
We
We're
got
innovating.
comments that we can
live
engage
from
with.
New York.
Rob, here's another question actually from the comments. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to read this computer at a tilt here. Lady Whispers, aka Princess Leia, said, "Is anyone planning for Dragon Con this coming year? It'll be
I
my
wish.
first. I heard it's fun and huge and a bit crazy at times. What is Dragon Con?
So Dragon Con is nerdy gras. It's 4:00 in the morning getting beers with Batman. It's 5 hotels shutting down the heart of Atlanta for a massive party.
When is that?
Just a big convention.
I'm in.
I think, what the hell do they do? I think it's like September. I think it's like beginning of September. It's always like right
Where is
around
it?
my dad's birthday. My dad's birthday
Atlanta.
is September 5th.
It's Atlanta.
So it's like end of August, beginning of September. And let me tell you,
We'd have to
it's
plan for
fucking
that right
hot.
now.
Like I used to march in the parade with the finest, the G.I. Joe cosplaying group. that I'm
G.I.
part of.
Joe.
And I used to dress like Sergeant Slaughter with combat boots and all that shit. And we would march for miles, and
Yeah.
people would be losing their shit and be like, "Oh, it's G.I. Joe!" And you know, I was carrying the flag on my shoulder and
Fucking
stuff. We used to
action
have a lot
figures
of
walking
fun.
down
That's
the
a
block.
fucking workout, man.
But it was good. It was a lot of fun. I used to room with my friends, and we would just. I remember the first time I ever went to Dragon Con. I think it was 2014, and for
Oh, you
like
got
2
screwed. You
days I
slept on
didn't
the
eat
floor.
anything, and that's like uncharacteristic as fuck for me. And my friend actually dragged me to the food court and was like, order some food. And the only place that didn't have a line was Checkers. And I got a burger, and it was the first time in my entire life I had a burger with mustard. I didn't think I
Wendy's?
would have to ask for ketchup.
Outside of
Ah,
New York,
dude,
they put
that's-
mustard on burgers.
Wendy's in New York. Wendy's in Massachusetts. When you order any of those burgers, they all come with mustard.
As long as it's not that yellow
Delaware.
shit. As long as it's
It
got to
is the
be
yellow
gluten,
shit,
you gotta
fucking
get the
spicy.
Gouldens.
Yeah,
It's
spicy
Goldens, I'll
fucking.
eat it.
Oh, that
Golden
yellow
spicy
shit.
brown.
Yeah,
Spicy
I know
brown.
what you mean.
Got to be a
Yeah.
spicy brown. over
Dragon
there.
Crown.
The spicy brown.
Dragon Con would be something.
Goldens.
Joe hasn't seen Rob at a con yet, and that's something you have
it's
to
fucked.
fucking see.
Yeah, it's insane.
I've seen him at Chili's at 12 o'clock at night. when
Yeah,
It's nothing.
This
It's
guy
nothing.
almost cried one time. We went to a Chili's and the guy like stopped me as we were walking out, and the guy was like losing his shit.
Dragon
kinda
Con,
funny.
You should drop a line to Dragon Con like, "Hey, I'd be interested in coming down." Wink, wink.
Well,
like,
the thing
fucking
with
bring me
Dragon
out.
Con is that they don't do cosplay guests. It's
Really?
not like that. They only do like.
Well, yeah, where
legit
is it? Is it a
actors and
convention?
fucking,
Like,
I
what
met Nolan North there. You know, I met a lot of people.
What
there.
is What
is
is
it in
Dragon
a
Con
Javits
supposed
Center
to be?
type thing or
Anime?
Sounds like it's a
It's
parade
everything.
festival.
They have an
type deal.
entire. Like, they have one hotel that's dedicated to like vendors. They have one hotel that has like the guests. They have like you can go to like the Hilton and go in their pool and shit. And it doesn't fucking matter. People do like photo shoots and shit. Like it's all like. Even the strip clubs have cosplayers fucking dancing in the shit.
mean-
The entire city is like tuned in for this shit, but it's
That's
tough
awesome.
to get in because like people buy up all the hotel rooms and shit.
Right.
Like you're almost better off like renting a car and getting an
Airbnb?
Airbnb or some shit.
Yeah, we
or
should do
you know,
that.
even better off not getting a car because it's fucked up driving around Atlanta. It's just
Uber everywhere.
terrible. I drove there once. It took me 17 and a half hours to get home. It's the
no, I
worst,
can't- no, I can't
worst
do
commute home ever.
The way home is the
I'll
worst.
never, ever, ever do that
I'll
again.
rent a car,
You
drive there,
fly
and
there,
fly
it's
home.
3 hours. you're
17
there.
hours. I can't sit in this fucking chair
This guy
for more
can't,
than
yeah.
an hour. I'm gonna sit
So
in
I
this-
had to
flip the whole
stop
table.
overnight in
Podcast
Tennessee, but
and
it was
drive.
17 and a half total driving hours.
Yeah, we'll do it.
It actually took me 25 hours to get home from the time that I left.
I don't know
because we
how
slept
you do
over
that.
in-
I don't.
Listen
I'd
to the
assume
Break Room
20
podcast.
hours was spent from Jersey to fucking Long Island.
I don't know how
The Bell
you do
Parkway
that
was
either.
the last 2 hours.
You
of my
drive a
fucking
lot
trip.
too. Fucking Boston to back to fucking
New Hampshire
Connecticut.
and
Like
shit.
I don't know how to
Oh,
fucking.
yeah.
That's
do
a lot
that.
of
It's
driving.
not that bad. I like driving. I'm all about it.
I don't.
Give me the
because
two.
I
driving a
people.
truck too.
I'll be the driver. You let me be the wheelman. I'm all about it.
Shout out to the original first name of this show was Four Fucking Opinions.
Four fucking opinions.
opinions.
That's what I
we got.
wanted to call it. And
what we got.
It was
FFO.
almost that.
Well, I'm saying bare minimum, but whatever.
The
Yeah, welcome to the fucking the podcast, bud.
Yao is here.
Yao, his yawness.
Everybody give
Yeah, I
me
was
shit.
with
Giannis.
us yesterday.
Are we gonna go around the room and go through our segments and go through our topics? Is
do
that
it.
what we're gonna do?
Let's kick it off.
Let's do
We
it.
got a bunch of good shit.
Well, we talked about the wrestling thing, but in wrestling news, The Rock's daughter is actually the fourth generation of that family.
I
to
did it
be
for The Rock.
wrestling.
yeah, I've been a
I
little
did
removed.
it for The Rock.
I haven't been
That's the
checking. I
funniest
haven't been
promo
watching.
ever.
I don't know if Chris has. Joe and Chris usually watch a lot more. What's been going on? WWE. There's some.
I mean, if you had SmackDown
Moving-
on right now, I can tell you. but
No,
it's
no,
not-
you guys aren't going to sit here and watch
You don't get to
SmackDown while we
cheat,
have
you
this
gotta
fucking
know.
show. I did see the DX promo. I did see a little bit of,
Yeah, I was
they're
there
talking-
live for that actually.
Penis,
Mike
and he
P.
was just like, "Don't say
They
penis."
had a cool shirt that said Brooklyn 25 Anniversary DX. That was a cool shirt.
Oh,
I would've liked that
I
shirt.
sent Mike money to fucking buy us the Brooklyn 316.
I have a
ones,
Brooklyn
but they
316.
fucking-
Yeah,
they
but it
sold
looks
out.
like Mets colors.
No, this
No,
one was the
no,
black
it's
and
just
white
a
because it
Stone
was
Cold.
at Brooklyn. It was at Barclay.
Oh.
So this was a dope one. I Venmo'd him the money and I just texted him like, "Yo, pick up 2 shirts if
Can
you
you
can."
fucking remind me to give you that
like-
patch? I
it's
have
like
an
double-
LFGM patch.
Let's go fucking
from
Mets.
Yeah.
Where did you
Not
get it?
anymore.
Go, Mets.
Mets
There
and
was a
Yankees got
guy at
fucked.
there was a guy
Fuck themselves.
at New York Comic Con dressed head to toe like he just came out of a fucking Mets game.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
he handed it
Mr.
to me.
Met.
I was like, all right,
Sandy
well,
Koufax.
I never
I'm
under-
sure I know Mets.
I never
Nolan
understood
Ryan.
Mets people. Like one of
Nolan Ryan.
my roommates when I
You're
was
gonna
in
talk
California.
sports. You're gonna talk sports.
No, I'm not
Is
a
that what
sports
we're
guy.
Go, baby.
But that's my
Uh-huh.
point. Is
Don't get me fucking going. I love it. I'm
He
ready.
knows all that shit.
hey, you
The
know,
last
we-
football
we're a
game I was at, I
variety
was
show.
in, so I know nothing.
I don't
We've
know.
got
If
an
we wanna talk
eclectic
about
mix.
football, my
I'm like a
heart's gonna
fat
break.
Jon Snow when it comes to fucking sports.
I think the biggest topic in wrestling is what's going on with CM Punk's contract in AEW.
Right, yes,
That's
right.
right.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Really
tired
lives
of
up to
hearing
the Punk
about it.
thing.
I'm tired of
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
give a
Chris
shit.
is tired, so he doesn't want to talk about it. I don't know anything, so I want to hear
No,
more.
no.
Can
I'll
I just
talk
say
about
that
it.
I never liked CM Punk?
That's what I've said.
And you're saying you can say
I
whatever you
never
want.
fucking liked CM Punk.
That's why you have a podcast,
Hey,
dude. Say
CM
whatever
Punk.
the fuck you want.
Rob doesn't like you.
I'm sorry. You know, I just.
Why, what's it- what-
Joe's
what?
a fan of
I
him,
just
though,
feel
right?
like he fucking causes problems everywhere he goes.
Listen,
He shoots. He bites
You know
the
what's
hand
funny,
that feeds
Joe?
him. And he shoots himself
I
in
just
the
won't
foot.
talk no more.
Every time.
You know how many people would fucking die for the opportunities that he's had in that fucking.
Every
what I've been
Sunday
saying.
night, every Sunday night, I see the CM Punk clip of him eating the food, saying he's working with little kids and he's got his ass kicked because they're saying this is Aaron Rodgers' post game interview. So anyway, CM Punk is done with AEW right now.
So
is
they
that the
actually
deal?
had a locker
done.
room.
Okay.
They actually had a locker room vote to see if they would want to work with CM Punk again, and he
Reportedly.
actually
They said
majority voted him out of the company.
That's got to tell you something.
More in particular, Chris Jericho actually came out in a podcast recently. Jericho has a podcast, and he said this to Punk's face. He said that,
I didn't hear this.
yeah, it's all
I know
over
he liked
Twitter.
the tweet. I saw that he liked the tweet that was talking about how toxic.
He called CM Punk a locker room cancer.
ooh,
Man, that gets
that's
thrown
rough.
around every now and then.
That's
It's
rough.
heavy
I
And then
mean,
accusation.
Jericho signed a 2-year.
But
3-year
Jericho is also
extension,
someone that
yeah.
has a long-standing history with Punk, dating back to the WWE days. So
He really knows. him.
Jericho also doesn't ever. He's not one to shy away from his opinion, but he doesn't go that far into his opinion very often. So for him to come out and say that, I think they're over the whole CM Punk experiment.
Over the line.
The only thing now is there going to be a no complete cause, because right now the negotiations is for them to buy out his
You're
contract,
over the line.
but for him to have a no compete clause, so that
Right.
means he can't go right to
Which
Triple
apparently
H
he
and
doesn't
WWE.
want. I mean, my whole
Who the
thing
fuck
is
would
like
do that?
all this
That's like
shit is
shoot-
speculation. We don't really know. It's
what
just
we're
like,
here to
oh,
do,
this was
baby.
reported, but then no, actually, it's
Yeah.
not true. And
Yeah.
then there was a dog
What do
there.
you think, Chris?
No, but there's
think-
a
you
you
think
don't
he's
understand.
gonna
There's been a lot of like little
We named
things.
the
It's like,
dog
oh,
Indiana.
his dog was in the room and the dog got injured. So they hurt the dog.
Not
And then
buying
it's
it
like,
a
no,
beer,
no, the
dude. It's
dog's
not taking
hurt.
your turn.
Fucking dog has fucking papers, man.
His hair falls out.
We're back to quoting Big Lebowski.
Yeah, he knows now.
When you guys are making a point,
I'm
I'm
so
just going
glad
to
I
start
forced him
quoting
to
a
fucking
totally
watch it.
irrelevant fucking movie.
My
very
next birthday,
relevant.
we're putting on Donnie Brasco.
Play that
Next
next.
poker game. Next poker game,
Play that.
bud.
All I'm
what
going
we
to
can
say is
do,
if you're
poker
going to
and
watch Big
movies, that's
Lebowski
fun.
for the first time, don't watch it in a room full of people who saw it
Who love
1,000
it.
times
Not
and
saw it,
quote
love it.
everything before they
It's a
say it.
culture.
Love.
It's a culture.
It is.
You have to
It
use
is.
so
It's a
many
cult
cuss words.
Classic. It's
What the fuck you
iconic.
talking about,
What are you
man?
talking about, man?
All right, have it your way.
But back to the task at hand, CM Punk.
Yeah. So
There was all
he's coming to
kinds of different
fucking.
things.
He's coming to WWE. Right?
No,
I
no,
mean,
no. Well, that's the thing now is, is he going to go to WWE? I hope not. Who gives a shit?
Oh, you don't like CM Punk? You're not a CM Punk guy.
I was a CM Punk fan. When he dropped the pipe bomb, that was a cool promo. And then for like a year or two after, he was like pretty cool. And then he became like that person that you work with that just bitches every fucking time that you see
CM
them.
Punk has burned down more bridges than all the dragons on House of Dragons.
Ooh, I
you
like
go.
that. That was a good one.
There's only one
Yes.
bridge
It's a
that gets
tie-in.
burned,
was
and that would be
like
Bitter
connecting
Bridge.
both parts of our show right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, he seems to have a. I'm an outsider. I always say it. So he seems to have a shitty reputation.
Well, no,
terms
but
of
when he
how
came back, everybody was like, "Yay, yeah, great."
Yeah, they were hot for
Keep
him.
in mind, he left, so he was fired from WWE, or released, or whatever.
Not fired.
Well, he got his release papers on his honeymoon or whatever, so he was pissed off about that.
What? That sounds like Vince
There was this
McMahon.
whole spat between WWE and him because they sued him because he was talking shit about their doctor, saying that the doctor like put him at risk, and then the doctor tried to sue
Is that when
him.
he had a concussion.
no.
Was like some
No,
concussion?
he had
Staph
like
infection.
MRSA or something. I don't remember
Staph
what it was.
infection.
Staph infection.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
then the
that's
doctor
real
sued
shit. You
him.
could die from that. That's
Yeah,
not-
yeah,
that's
no,
not a
it's no
fucking
joke.
fuck
Killed my
around.
grandma. Staph infection. Yeah. Staph infection is no joke. I don't remember exactly what the details were, but the doctor sued him and then lost. So then there was that. He had a whole thing with one of his friends, Colt Cabana, which is what this is all blown up about. There's just been a lot of like shit, and then he left to UFC, and he got his ass kicked in UFC.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
got
it was
fucking
really
creamed.
And it's like, if you're gonna go do that, you gotta.
He thought he was Brock Lesnar. He thought he was gonna have a big career with.
He's
with
not Brock
He was
Lesnar.
bigger than
and
Brock
then
Lesnar.
fucking-
He's not Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is a
it's-
specimen. He's a once in a lifetime
That's it.
athlete.
That's what I'm saying.
thing,
He
bro.
didn't
This
measure
guy
up.
is-
Fucking
CM Punk
animal.
6'1", 205 pounds. He's like a kid in Hot Topic with a fucking gift card.
Listen,
They
it's
tried
one
to-
of
they
it's
tried
one of
to
no,
slate
but
him
it's
like the
it's one of the
Wolverine to Brock Lesnar's
it's
Hulk,
one of the
and he just
walls
not.
that Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels like run up against. Like you think about these guys, Hogan, The Rock. Even
None of those guys would fare well in UFC. Maybe Kurt Angle, but that's really
Kurt
it.
Angle would have.
I mean, like
you never know.
prime
Some of those
Kurt
guys
Angle.
are probably pretty good, if they put their
way.
effort towards it. But
Don't want to fight.
if you're gonna
Haku.
do it, you got to win. And he
Haku would
shouldn't have
win
done
in
it
the
at like
UFC.
41.
Sabu doesn't feel pain.
Sabu.
Well, he's just a sicko. I mean, that's not.
He is a sick
So
guy.
that's AEW. Anything in the realm of the WWE? Oh wait, Rock's fucking daughter joined AEW, right?
no
NXT.
NXT.
NXT, yeah.
Oh,
which is
so she's
WWE.
she's under Shawn Michaels' tutelage.
Yep. Yeah.
Ah, Shawn Michaels
Ava
contributing
Rain.
to the
We'll
legacy.
say what her name is, not just The Rock's daughter. It's
Yeah,
Ava
that's-
Rain is
okay,
her
that's
name. Don't really know much about her. She looks just like The Rock.
She looks like The Rock with a wig. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
And if you look at
That's rough.
pictures of her when she was like a teenager and younger, she looks more like The Rock. It's fucked.
That's fun.
Like when she's not wearing makeup, she's The Rock.
I'm curious to see where that goes because The Rock hates Shawn Michaels.
But no, actually, he doesn't. So Shawn Michaels was just on Impulsive. Vin shared the link.
Yes, I did.
He was talking about it. He said he made his amends. He made his apologies.
Oh, you watched that
he
shit?
bend the knee?
I watched before he said. Oh, I
It's a
read
fucking
it.
rock.
I didn't actually.
Okay.
Bend the knee to
The
The
clip,
Rock?
the
But,
clip I sent
they
was
made
funny.
amends, and he said they're cool. And
The Rock did what Hulk Hogan couldn't. A career outside of the WWE.
I mean, The Rock's fucking career.
Well,
is,
Hogan, you
know,
could argue, was the
Hogan
first
made Rocky,
to do movies.
and then he made
That's true, The
fucking
Nanny?
Suburban Commando.
Suburban
No
Commando was
Holds Barred,
great.
No
Mr.
Holds Barred.
Nanny.
And then he
Undertaker
was in the
was
Three
in there.
Ninjas,
Yeah.
and then that was it.
No, Hogan was a pioneer. No way
Yeah,
around
he had
it.
Thunder in
No
Paradise.
way
That was a
around
great
it.
show. What are you talking about?
I mean,
was
The
also a
Rock's
different
first
time.
movies, The Rundown.
Terrible movies.
I
He wasn't
fucking
even
love
in
The
the
Rundown.
Rundown.
The Rundown is one of my favorites.
Rundown's
Doom?
great. That's the one with
Fucking Doom was
Shawn
terrible.
Michael,
The Tooth Fairy
Scott.
was
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah,
Come
come
on,
on.
man.
Christopher
The Rock
Walken.
made some
Hilarious.
shit. He made some shitty
Rock
fucking
was
Also,
movies.
The Fairy, The Tooth
But
Fairy.
hey, that goes.
Rock's
we
made more
some
shit
shitty
than he's made
episodes.
good.
But
movies.
you got to go through the shit
Yeah.
to get to the fucking Black Adam
See, he's
$1 billion.
stuck
Look at
with
our
fucking
look at our
Hogan
pilot
kept it
episode.
Black Adam has
We
gotten
made some
horrendous
shit.
reviews.
But it's got a 90% on fucking audience
I want to see it.
score
I'm not
'cause they
gonna. I
love
don't know
him.
if I'll go to the movie to see it, but I want
He's
to see
got a
it.
built-in audience. He's built it over decades. People love him to love him. It doesn't
Brian
even matter
wants
if it
to see it,
sucks.
so maybe we'll go.
You know, I mean, well, that's we'll get there.
Oh,
I
Young
want to
Rock,
talk Black
Young
Adam.
Rock is coming back too. His new season
the
for that show is coming back.
You guys
too.
running for president.
I gotta
one
watch
day.
that.
You guys
I never
running
saw
for
the
president.
Young
You'll like that. I need to watch.
I
Actually,
met the
Mike,
guy that plays the Iron Sheik on that show.
Mike told me to watch
Chicky baby.
the new Vice thing with fucking like the regional.
Yeah.
It's
We started
Tales
watching
from
that.
the Road or Tales from the.
No,
Territories.
the territories.
Territories.
I saw a
That's-
few episodes of that.
I need to start picking up on that. I
Oh.
might do something for that because
That reminds
looks
me,
interesting.
a big part of that show. A lot of that they're actually using footage from Jim Cornette. He's apparently going to be on some
I love
episodes.
Jim Cornette.
Nice.
You know,
I've been
I
hearing
actually
him a
started
lot.
listening
He
to his
pops up on my
podcast,
shit.
and
He does.
I'm really enjoying his podcast.
He's hilarious. Actually,
He is hilarious. His point.
He's a little all over the place.
He's
sometimes,
very wacky. He says these crazy, wacky fucking things. And like the words that he comes up with and like the turn of phrases. But it's actually a really good podcast. I'm
He's
enjoying
got
him.
stories.
Yeah.
That guy definitely has.
Yeah.
a
Hey,
lot
Tricky
of
Ricky
fucking
in the
great
house.
stories.
Tricky Ricky is in the house. Just want to address some of the comments too. We have I Ryan I Edit is here.
Wow, yeah.
He's also been
Ryan,
here
dude.
from
Appreciate
very
you.
early on. Appreciate you, Ryan. And then a cup of coffee asked, "Will you guys do interviews?" Yes.
So we're going to be working
Will
on
you guys
guests.
do interviews?
So
Wow.
that's what we're going to
We've been
really
talking about that for like
focus.
6 months.
We're going to try to hyper focus on that in the next year to come because we've got our 1 year down. So I think that's going to be a year 2 thing is
Hell
really
yeah.
bringing in some guests.
Oh yeah.
Rob knows some
Cross
great
your
people.
fingers. Maybe if the Slaughterhouse is listening, maybe we could try to do a crossover episode and have Sarge on or something.
Oh,
That'd be a
Sarge,
lot
we
of
love you.
fun.
All the
We would
voice
love you,
actors,
Sarge.
the guy who
We
does
met
like
so many
Goku.
voice actors and stuff. Maybe that would be cool to have somebody on.
They love
Brian
you.
O'Halloran, maybe try to reach
I
out
feel
to
like he
him.
would be open to having a conversation.
It would be
quick
cool.
combo.
You know, so we'll definitely
Guests
try to
and
reach out to
interviews
some of the
And it
people
does.
I've
It's
met
not
over
even
the
like
years.
it's necessarily always going to be some crazy famous person. You know,
Yeah.
talk to
ton of
anybody.
friends, a lot of people with a
You
lot
know?
of passion.
Lots of ins.
We
lots
also
of
have to
outs.
have
Lots of outs,
your
dude.
cousin Joe on because he's got the hot wings.
He can't wait.
hot
He's upset that
houses.
we haven't done that yet.
Joe,
honestly.
Marilyn.
Now
Our friend
Joe,
Marilyn from work, she
Joe,
wants to come on
Joe's
and
like,
talk.
Joe's getting to the place where he'll just be like,
Passive aggressive.
yeah, passive
Does he
aggressive.
work Fridays? What's his schedule?
No,
like?
he's off Fridays.
He's
He's
off
been
every
on
Friday.
Fridays.
Get his ass in here.
Well, fucking. Hey, listen, this is the first time. I mean, I was on medical, all the shit I had to go through. So now we're together. We know we want to make the next year even better than the last. So I think
I love that little bastard.
We'll have
He's
a lot
great.
of fun on that shit.
Oh, Joe's
we'll have a
fucking
lot
man.
of fun. I think
Everybody's gonna love Joe. They're gonna be like, he's gotta come.
He's gonna be my new friend when I'm playing God of War all night.
He
Next,
will be your new
next
friend
week.
because he'll be there.
Yeah.
He'll be platinuming the shit out of that
Oh, that's
game,
gonna
and
be
then
me.
he'll
I'm
leave
gonna
you in the
pull out. I
dust.
don't give a shit.
He's
Huh?
sick
He'll
in the head.
fucking leave you in the dust and start
He'll
playing
make
a
you
new
feel
game.
bad. He'll make you feel
Yeah.
bad. You'll be
No,
like,
me
"Why
and
am I
Joe
playing
went
this?"
neck and neck in God of
have the
War.
time.
Yeah, you too.
We
Oh,
both
man.
fucking platinum that shit like a day apart. I think it was bad.
Fucking
We
Valkyrie
both went
Queen.
ham.
Overrated.
What?
Don't give me that shit.
Jesus.
Don't give me that shit. You're overrated.
Christ.
Fucking God of War
I'm
is
not
the
rated.
greatest
Nobody
game that-
rates me. I'm fucking rated at an 8.6.
God of War is the
in life.
greatest fucking title to come out of PlayStation ever.
I spent $800 on PlayStation shit
Ever.
just to play this.
Just to play the
fucking
one
game.
game.
ever.
No, that's bullshit. There's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, there's fucking Last of Us, there's Last
But
of Us
that's
2.
PlayStation 4 games.
Oh my god!
It's a PlayStation
It
franchise.
was the end of PlayStation 4 too, so it's like the best of
God of
PS4.
War wasn't
This
a
is
PS.
the first PS5 game that's going to be like. Well, the only thing that I'm pissed about is the frame rate.
Yeah, the 40.
So hopefully there's a performance
read-
mode at some point where it's 64K because there's no excuse
There'll
for
be a
it to
This
patch
will-
or some shit.
This will
I'm sure.
disappoint you. Ready for this? So I was reading a developer talking about people in the current generation need to maybe temper some expectations because the 60 frame per second 4K is possible now, but with the Unreal Engine 5 and all the new shaders and the ray tracing and all this other shit, some developers are going to have to compromise to say, do we want 60 frame per second or do we want all of the new abilities of Unreal Engine? So
What's the point of buying all this next gen hardware if we
because they're
can't
going
run
to
it?
sell a pro version.
But that was the selling point of this generation is that
No,
I can
that
do
was- that-
4K 60.
That was a.
That was
they were talking
both,
about it
both
saying-
consoles harped on that like dramatically during launch week.
I don't know about the 60 frame per
Do you
second.
think that your
Yeah.
Xbox like lives up to its expectations?
I think the consoles have done a
The
fucking.
console itself.
So yeah, I mean I play more Xbox than anything else in terms of like software. No, neither
Did you feel that it was like lacking in any way?
neither console has had any fucking software.
We don't have the
None.
powerful games yet.
We
I
don't.
know
We
what
don't
you're
have
saying.
next gen games, and
We're
we don't have. We don't have a lot of them. Like it's been 9 months since Sony has had a first party game put out since.
We
God of
also
War.
had 2 years of pandemic, and you know they've been using
give
that as an
them-
fucking
yeah.
excuse
So I mean, for that,
everything in the
you
entire
can't say
world,
that
let alone
either console has
video
lived up to the
games.
hype.
It's true.
But
No, I think
2023 is going to be a banner year because there's a lot of shit coming out in
That's-
2023.
always been the early adopter pain point. Like when I first bought an iPhone.
That's not
there was
true.
no app store.
That's not true on older consoles though, because Nintendo 64 out of the
This
gates.
fucking guy, you referenced Nintendo 64. You know how it's been since, I think,
What you said.
some of the
The
best
PS4
were...
was the same thing. There
PS,
was no
the
games
most
for
recent
PS4
consoles,
for like
it's
a
been
year.
rough. I feel like PS3, Xbox 360.
PS3 launched with God of War and Metal Gear
not
Solid 4.
launched. No, launched?
Yeah, like
PS3.
a month later,
Oh,
Metal Gear
because-
Solid 4.
That was
but
the third
PS3,
God
Yeah,
of
but
I
the
feel
War.
like
problem
didn't
with
have a lot of good
PS3 is that
games.
at launch it was
Besides Metal Gear.
$600.
That's-
as
so-
compared to the
yeah,
$350
But it still had a
Xbox
must-play
360.
game within the launch
Uncharted
window.
was like the game
You know?
in my opinion. But I think it's been
Xbox One had Halo. You know,
to me, it's the early adopters curse because the benefits to me are you're getting the peak version of last year. So, one, I'm getting the best graphics that are available for games that probably launched last year. I don't have to listen to my fucking PS4 Pro sound like it's going to take off out of my fucking room. I played the PS4
that
and
fan.
the PS4 Pro with my window cracked.
let me ask you
sucking
this.
in cold
Let me ask you
air,
this,
bro.
since
It
you
was
keep
fucking-
saying Pro.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
How long do you think it's going to be
2
before
years.
we get like the next?
It better be fucking 2 or 3 years.
I guarantee it's 2 years because
It's
we're
the
already.
biggest scam.
What are we already
2 years
into the
in.
second?
2 years in already.
Yeah, we're already
2020 is
in.
when the consoles came out.
And people
during the
want
pandemic.
60 frame per second 4K. That and
But
now
8K is
all-
going to be the next.
Well, I feel like not everybody has the OLEDs and the 4. Like most people have 4K, but even still, some people are still getting. You don't have a 4K, do you?
I
Is
got
your
4K. I got 4K.
Oh my bad. I feel like I
my
just
my main
offended
TV
him.
is 4K, but yeah, a little bit. You're offending a little bit.
I love my
So
LG
little
C1.
bit,
So a little bit,
little bit.
so a little bit.
Whatever.
I don't know if
Again,
it's
a little
60
on
frames
yourself.
per
It's
second.
expensive. Only now can I go and get one of those fucking like. I think right now, if you want peak gaming, besides like a PC rig, you're doing LG OLEDs
That's what I have. That's
with
what Rob
Xbox
has.
or PS5,
I
and
hate LGs.
those
They're fucking the best TVs.
they are
out
the best TVs out.
Not even
Those
close.
panels are beautiful.
Till they
and
break.
They don't break.
Yeah. Might as well get a Vizio.
Actually, my father's Samsung that he had hung on the wall during the pandemic, that broke. And that's only a year old. He is about to rip the fucking thing off the wall and throw it out. And I was like, well, if you do it, LG's got a great TV.
Man, I've always gotten Samsung TVs, and they've never done me wrong. Any LG or Vizio TV I got, fucking piece of crap breaks.
Anytime you're on the cutting edge of things, if
LG's
you're in PC
overrated,
gaming,
right, Chris?
Anytime you're on the cutting edge,
life's not good.
You always feel a little bit ahead, and it always feels like there's a lag. But for a lot of people, they couldn't get PS5s. They couldn't get these systems, and it's expensive to get. Right now, you could get the
You had to
OLEDs
fucking bribe your
at
congressman to
$1,200.
get that fucking system.
I was
Yeah,
lucky to
like
get
follow
one.
the Twitter account, turn on your alerts.
But I agree with Joe. Now,
fucking
like, what the fuck?
We're out of excuses, though. We're year 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
all
there's
bad.
no more pandemic. Everyone's back to work, mostly. I mean, a lot of people still work from home, but at the end of the day, we're going to have major titles released from
Starfield.
both consoles.
A lot of hype.
Hopefully, Wolverine, Spider-Man 2,
wait. Oh, Wolverine's a
Starfield. You're also going to look at a new Fable at some point.
Fable.
Street Fighter 6. Once that shit comes out,
Can't
you guys
wait.
won't see me
Joe's
anymore.
streaming on the fucking channel with that baby
yeah.
going competitive pro. He's
Yeah.
quitting his job. He's going to
I
be
really
a pro
want to
Street
see
Fighter guy. I want to see
some games that really tap into the power of the controller, because I feel like I haven't had a game since like that fucking little robot game that came with the PlayStation 5 that like really like makes you feel like
GTA
what
is
this
one
shit
of the
can
best
do.
But
examples
see,
of it.
what pissed me off was, why is there not a fucking steering wheel and like gas pedal fucking controller out there?
There is.
But they're super fucking pricey, and also no games work. Like one game works with it.
So
Why can I not do that with a
If you
fucking...
had an Xbox, you could play Forza, and you can have
Gran
that.
Turismo.
I don't want to play Forza. I want to fucking play Grand
So-
Theft
so,
Auto,
uh,
and I want to
Sam's-
fucking...
Grand Theft Auto. When you get out of the car, how are you going to play with the wheel?
Fucking, I don't care. I'll pick up a... Well, usually these things have like the buttons on them anyway.
I'd love to
Make
see
a fucking
that.
controller and let you
You're gonna-
switch. You pick up the controller when you're on foot. I don't give a fuck. I want to drive and I want to run over somebody.
No, I've seen. There's a dude on
You
I
gotta
see
hack it.
TikToks.
Yeah.
and he literally drives his decked out dubbed Impala via steering wheel, and then he'll switch to the controller when he's like running around, and that's his stream.
all
It's
I
part
want.
of the stream.
That's
You
all
can
I
do
want,
it
man.
on
You're
PC.
not going to have GTA 6 for 2 more years, though, dude.
Oh,
3. I don't think it's coming for fucking
2025?
Fuck yeah. Fuck
3
yeah.
years?
Absolutely. 100%.
I
In my
think-
mind, 100%.
I think 2 years.
This game is
The fact that they acknowledge its existence, even
because they
is-
got hacked and
They got
fucked
hacked.
anyway. So
Well,
of
but
course
they
they're like,
acknowledged
the
it
game's
before
coming.
that.
And you
They,
know
they
this shit's
put
gonna
out a
get
post
pushed
saying
back
that they were
anyway.
making it.
3 years. That's
How about CD Projekt Red announcing they're going to do the Unreal 5 engine and remake The Witcher?
That's fucking beautiful.
I
That's
know Mandy's going to be excited about that.
I
She
brought
fucking
up-
loved The Witcher.
Yeah. It's why I brought up Unreal Engine 6 months ago. I thought it was going to empower developers to do a lot of really cool things fucking quickly. It wasn't going to require them to build these custom engines in-house, take all this time developing this tech. They're going to be able to adopt this shit and implement it very quickly. I know Chris's point. He doesn't like a lot of Unreal Engine 5 or Unreal Engine stuff because it has a certain look to
You'll
it.
start feeling like you're playing the same game, just different versions of it. That's what I worry, with the Unreal Engine, but it doesn't really
It's-
seem to happen too
it's
much.
with this engine, they're using that engine to even produce Star Wars movie and
Movies
TV
and
stuff. Like this is beyond just a general Fortnite or Sea of Thieves game or Gears of War. They're able to provide. They've built some technologies that it's changing the actual polygon. It's not.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
building something new. So
I saw
I'm
somebody
excited
like
for The
shooting
Witcher.
they had a gun.
Oh.
They were like doing a SWAT team thing or
Yes,
something,
that
and
was in the woods.
it looked like you were looking at like a fucking body camera,
Yeah.
playing a game. Just want to back to the comments here. Zach mentioned that Sony TVs use LG panels, but just have different software. So that's another good buy. I didn't know that. But I mean, that makes
LG
sense. A lot of companies
provides
use LG displays for.
every smartphone company with their
Yeah.
displays. LG and Samsung are the
No, they're
main-
overrated, Vin. Don't worry
main
about
panel.
Yeah, they're over it.
Well, those
He's gonna harp
TVs are
on
now. You
that.
could get
It's
those
gonna-
TVs for they're hitting the $1,200 point.
it. Yeah,
price
they are.
point,
Black
so
Friday weekend, man. You can get a
I'm
C1 or C2 for about under
You're
$1,400.
willing to
gonna
get
do it
stabbed
next
in the
year.
fucking
If I'm-
liver.
I think I got mine for $1,100 to see one.
It's great. Best TV on the market. All 4 HDMI or HDMI 2.1. They can run 120 frames.
What's the model you got?
C2.
LG C1 is the one Rob has. He bought 2 of them. He liked it so much he bought it twice.
Yeah, the
Sounds
one in
like-
the living
sounds
room
like
and the one in
Rob.
my room. Yeah.
Yeah. Only the best.
Only the creme de la creme.
Little creme.
I think I settle for less. It's like my character is.
We want to go
GTA.
to. Do you want to go to the comic book stuff, Marvel, DC, or do you want to go?
Is there
to,
anything wrestling else? Just before
We've talked about wrestling like 20 minutes ago.
When's
We're way
Nikita
past
Lyons
wrestling.
coming, bro? What the fuck's going on? I saw her get her ass slapped on the last. Did you see that?
Slapped?
You didn't
I
see
didn't
this?
see that. No.
Wait, what?
Oh man, fuck!
Who?
I wish I
Ass
could bring
slapped
up the live
on
clip.
what?
Yeah, well, she was in a match and
Someone
against
slapped
another
her
girl,
ass.
and yeah, she's just. I'm telling you, bro. Watch when I pull this up.
NXT's getting raunchier. You know,
I
they're
thought with
leaning
that
in.
promo from DX, it was like testing the waters for
Well,
like
they're rated R now, right?
how.
Rated R.
Well, the
Or
NC,
PG-13,
what was it? The
sorry.
No, they're not.
TV-14?
They're not.
They
It
didn't
was
make the move yet.
PG-13.
No,
They didn't make
pulled
the
back
move
from
yet.
that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
They didn't go there
pussies.
yet.
But I mean, hey, if you can say penis on PG, then
I'm telling you,
kinda
they were dipping their toes into like how far can we go? What's the appetite for this in our audience? And I think it's fucking very high because we're all vulgar
it's overdone.
motherfuckers. We all watch the
Way
internet.
overdone.
We don't watch PC fucking bullshit on TV. Basically, now House of the Dragon is the one thing that brought people back to television, back to the 9 o'clock spot on a Sunday all together. Otherwise, you haven't watched Andor. You haven't watched
I haven't
fucking
watched
that.
Andor.
You haven't watched because it's all streaming. It's all
It's a
available
lot,
whenever
man.
you
It's a lot
want
to
it.
watch.
It's
Chris is a
different.
busy man. He doesn't really have the time.
All right, I will find this clip though. Hold on, I brought this clip up. I'm not gonna tease you guys and not fucking find it.
But House of Dragons.
We're going there.
You
Or we're
wanna
going to
go
go
there?
What,
Well,
what do we got going on in Marvel World?
Take a
lot.
pit stop at Marvel.
I know that the
and DC.
I know that they just dropped the trailer for a Christmas movie with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Special, yeah.
So that'll be something new.
Well,
from
you
the
got
MCU.
Black Panther 2 coming out in
Wakanda
a
Forever.
couple weeks.
That looks good. That's gonna. be
Did
a
you
good
see
one.
that Lego set they made of the bust of Black Panther? Holy shit! It's
Yeah,
if
the
you
Lego
look at the
bust is
Lego
awesome.
store. It's literally
Wakanda
like
Forever.
his head and then like the hands crossed like that. It's insane. It's like
How
1-to-1
much is
scale.
that?
It's not like a smaller thing. I didn't see what the
Probably
price was.
$400
Probably a lot.
I want the Hogwarts Express. I walked into the Lego store next to the job. Fucking $500. I was like, no, that's out. That's out.
What's
No,
Lego stock look like? Jesus Christ.
I think they're private. I don't even think they're a public
You
company.
got to make a lot of money. People line up for blocks.
Yeah, that's it. But
So no, if you wanted to talk Marvel, yeah, right now we're gonna end Phase 4 with Black Panther.
What is that? I'm sorry. Hold on.
Here we go.
Before.
It's
go.
What
overrated.
the fuck? As somebody that again, I can't keep up with all the Marvel movies. What the fuck does that mean? Phase 1, Phase 2.
they
Somebody's
consider-
fucking
They
grandmother.
consider these to be like grand stories that are told by chapter. So, like
Just
the
imagine
first
a volume.
wave of movies that came out culminated
So the
with
first 26
Avengers
movies
movie.
were
So
phase-
that's considered Phase 1 because that's like basically the big intro to this universe. Now you have characters, and you've had them face in adversity, and now they're a team. So when you go into Phase 2, you already understand these are the characters involved, and we'll incrementally add to the story. So that was like Age of Ultron would have been like Phase 2. Then they had Phase 3 with Civil War and the Winter Soldier and all that stuff. Gotcha. So Phase 4 is after Infinity War. When they had that big crossover movie, Phase 4 started after that.
Yeah,
so now we're about to finish that phase, and then we're going to go into the multiverse. This is where we're going to start seeing X-Men and the Fantastic Four, because Disney literally reacquired all of the rights to a lot of these characters. They missed out on like Spider-Man because that's still owned by Sony, but
right.
this is going to set
And
up for
X-Men
another
was
phase
owned
where
by
we're going to
Fox.
start seeing a lot of the shit that we've been waiting for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's why people are hyped for this Phase 5. I feel like they didn't do a whole lot in Phase 4.
4 was a tough one because, it was a transitional time. They had acquired all these properties from Fox that included X-Men, Fantastic Four, some like major tentpoles for Marvel Comics. So they couldn't do anything with those characters yet. As we closed out the previous phases, which ended with Endgame and the death of Thanos and bringing back everybody, they used Disney Plus to launch all these shows and all these like auxiliary characters and some characters that would kind of take over for other characters. They're retired characters. Tony Stark dies.
Yeah.
Captain America's gone. There's now there's
Like
Falcon
the
as
B
Cap.
team.
Spoilers, dude.
So each phase just really is a volume, and they try to make it a coherent. This is probably the most incoherent of them all because as we end with Black Panther, we were already told about the next big bad villain at the end of Loki, which was in the middle of this phase, and that's Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror is the next big bad. He is a big fucking problem. He's one of the smartest people. He has the
He's
best
far
technology.
worse than Thanos
He's from
because
the
he's
future.
more intelligent. He's
ruthless.
actually a descendant of Reed Richards, so he has that genius to him.
Are we going to get Galactus on screen at some point?
That's been long.
Well, now that they have the Fantastic Four, it makes sense because now you have Reed Richards,
Silver
which means you have
Surfer.
the Ultimate Nullifier, and we'll see stuff like that. We're probably going to see the Negative Zone and a lot of the Nihilists and characters like that.
Nihilists, dude?
So it
They believe in nothing. They believe in nothing. But now that we're ending this
These people
phase
gonna hurt us, Walter?
with Black Panther, it's a tough one because Chadwick Boseman
Donnie, these men are
died of
cowards.
cancer. It was unexpected in terms of he wasn't very public about it. They planned to have him do the next movie, and unfortunately he died. And they had to take some time away and figure out what kind of story were they going to tell, how were they going to honor him. And this movie's going to feel like a memorial in a way. And it's going to try to transition, I think, some of the more grounded elements of the Marvel world. But the next movie coming is Ant-Man and Quantumania, which is an extension of the Loki series.
So Ant-Man's Phase 5?
Ant-Man is the first Phase 5 movie. So now we're going to get the real introduction. Who we met, we did not really meet Kang the Conqueror yet. We met He Who Remains. If you didn't watch Loki, I'm not going to go into the whole thing.
it's just a
He Who
multiversal
Remains
version of him.
is the one that killed every other Kang the Conqueror.
I'm
And
glad you know this because I don't.
unified the timeline. So they're trying to use Kang the Conqueror and He Who Remains as why the previous phases didn't have X-Men, didn't have some of the alternate parts of the Marvel universe. They're basically saying Kang the Conqueror just cut all that shit out, or He Who Remains cut all that shit out, because he killed every other version, every other multiverse version. He stopped the multiverse. He created just one continuous circular timeline that was going on for we don't know how long, but now that's shattered. Scarlet Witch shattered it. We've seen it in Spider-Man with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
There's a whole multiverse of madness.
What year does Deadpool come out with Wolverine in it?
Deadpool 3?
I think that's
announced with-
2024.
Yeah, we're looking at 2024.
Damn.
I think everything now. It seems far away, but we're coming
I mean,
up on
we're almost
2023
in
in 8
2023.
weeks.
Yeah, it's not that.
This is
Here
2023.
before we know it, we'll be doing an episode about it.
That's true. Absolutely. You'll be so I'm fucking excited because, I do think Ant-Man's going to fucking die in this one because he's one of the last remaining original Avengers. It seems like he's either going to disappear into the multiverse until there's a Secret Wars
Well, he
crossover.
already disappeared for like a long time.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, he
I
already
don't
did
know if
that
they'll
once.
do that again.
I think they'll just kill him this time because everybody could be brought back via multiverse.
That's it. He's dead.
Secret Wars is coming. They delayed Secret Wars though.
Yeah.
They put that off because they don't have a director. They don't really have a script. They better just get the fucking
Speaking
Russo
of
brothers.
directors,
I'd rather
DC
that
has a
they
new
put it on the
helm.
shelf than fuck it up.
Go ahead.
DC
Go ahead, Vin.
fucking took, DC made a great move. So DC's been in transition over the last year. There's been acquisitions or mergers between Discovery and Time Warner, which has led to a leadership change and a structure change at the company. They're streamlining HBO, they're streamlining all of these things, and they're really paying attention to the DC property that they own because obviously it contains some of the best fucking comic book characters that have ever existed, some of the original comic book characters, but we really haven't seen the equivalent to what Marvel's been able to do. And while DC has tried to copy Marvel in the worst ways possible, all the negative sides of a Marvel movie, like the spectacle and like what people try to simplify it into being, it never captured you. Man of
I
Steel
always
was
felt that
kind
there
of
was a clear
snooze.
difference between Marvel and DC. They
Yeah.
told different kinds of stories.
Definitely.
And DC is literally Detective Comics. That was like their start was like solving mysteries and shit,
Gritty.
as
I didn't know
opposed to the super powered beings that have like a flaw or something like that. That's like the Marvel storytelling. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
just like I feel like
They should lean into that.
They should lean into what they are. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Don't try to be the other guy.
No.
That's what makes you great in your own way, is that you're different from the other guy.
We were talking about
Absolutely.
this when Batman came out. We were saying the same stuff.
Listen, you have fucking Superman. Come on. You know, he's one of the most iconic characters.
And yet we
He's-
can't
he's
make a good
next to,
Superman movie lately. It's
and
like,
they have a great guy
Odysseus
playing
and
him.
fucking
Man
all
of
these
Steel
Greek-
wasn't bad.
I like
No, it just didn't have any.
It wasn't. It wasn't the best Superman movie of all time.
Henry
but it
Cavill,
wasn't
and I think
bad.
he does
Love
a good
him.
Superman. It's just
So to that point, Rock, you know, did Black Adam. It's relatively successful. I know the critic scores
You
are
smell
soft,
what the Rock is cooking?
but he's the Rock. He
Oh,
draws.
so critic scores
asses in
suck?
seats. We talk about wrestling, asses in seats, regardless of the pro. Hey, listen, the Rock puts asses in fucking seats.
didn't go
Well,
see
that
it.
was like
Fucking
he
bad.
made that other movie right before with
Kevin Hart.
Ryan. Who else the guy that plays
Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds? Red something.
That was a
Notice,
terrible.
Red Notice,
Red
Notice.
and I heard that it was like one of the worst movies ever, but it
terrible.
did great. It
I
did
didn't
great
hate it.
numbers.
I saw it with my
Did
dad.
you?
I get
It's
a
good.
kick out
I
of
mean,
that shit.
I don't
liked it. I
take
thought it was
critics
funny.
Straight to
fucking-
Netflix.
The ending was
Straight
kind
to
of
Netflix.
stupid, but like whatever.
Wasn't
Alright,
it a
so-
Netflix film?
Stupid.
So wait, I
Now-
just want to clarify. You're saying that the critic score for Black Adam was bad, but the fan score was good.
Yeah, it has a 90% rotten, Rotten Tomato popcorn score there.
Interesting.
You know, people will give Dwayne Johnson the Rock the benefit of the doubt. They love him regardless. They see him on screen, they love it. I get a kick out of him. I was just hoping that Black Adam, I haven't seen it yet, but it would be like an R-rated, like a rougher version of Superman.
Cold should've
That's
been
what I
Wizard
thought he
Shazam.
was going to be more.
And they
of like
PG'd it. They corporated it, and it was supposed to be. There was some violent kill scenes, and they pulled all those scenes.
Yeah.
The
'cause they
trailer
wanted
made me not
PG-13.
want to see it, truthfully, because I remember you talking about it and saying like, "Oh, it looks like it sucks," and I was like, "Oh, I don't,"
My
I hope
one
not.
gripe, and I haven't seen the movie, so I can't, judge it, is that why the fuck is Shazam not in this movie?
And
Why is
then,
Why is Captain Marvel?
I think
not in the
they're.
movie?
I think they're
So
trying
spoiler,
to build,
guess who
they're
fucking
trying to-
appears at the end?
Yeah,
Superman. So now Henry Cavill announced he's going to continue being Superman. There's been a leadership change. So Guardians of the Galaxy director, Marvel director James Gunn, is now the co-CEO of DC.
Who to bring it
What?
full circle? I
Really?
met.
Yes.
I met James Gunn at Dragon Con.
Before the first Guardians came out, you said, right?
Yeah, it was like I think Guardians came out the week before.
Jeez. So he was like nobody almost.
Yeah, like
he did
he wasn't-
Scooby Doo before that. It was
Yeah,
literally
it
he
was-
did Scooby Doo, and then he did Guardians, I think.
And he
So-
actually was an understudy of Lloyd Kaufman, who did the Trauma movies.
Tremors.
No,
Love Tremors.
not Tremors. Trauma. Whatchamacallit? Toxic Avenger.
Bert from Tremors.
Jesus, really, Bert from
Toxic
Tremors, man.
Avenger. Yeah.
Ran out of bullets. It's never happened to me before.
Melvin the Mop Boy.
So now there's this whole big restructuring, whether it's the entire corporation being under new leadership. Now they've, the former head of DC has left. There's going to be this co-CEO situation. James Gunn has done Suicide Squad was his first, and then he did Peacemaker as well for
Yep.
HBO.
Peacemaker was good. I like
yes,
that.
it was.
A lot of
Yeah.
people like what he does. He's got a humor. He's really, I think, in touch with the culture, and what people are, what the appetite is for whether it's violence or kind of dirty humor, whatever. He's pretty good with that.
Robert Patrick played a real bastard in that show. It was great.
So, Robert, he's always a fucking. He's
great.
really great.
I love him.
The T1000.
Have you
Come
seen
on.
this boy?
Have you seen it? So.
Oh wait, is that the guy who plays Peacemaker's dad?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Well, he was in The Sopranos too. Remember, he had
yeah,
the debt to
Our
Tony.
kids went to school together. Get back in your fucking hole. Get back in your hole. What's his Davey? Is that his
Davies,
name?
yeah. I think
Takes over his
last name is
fucking like
Davies.
sporting goods store.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Run that
Guys
shit in the
sleeping
ground.
in the
Light a
fucking
match.
tent.
Yeah. I love when Tony's explaining like, yeah, we're gonna pretty much just like run up all the credit and then we're gonna fucking like close it out.
It's
and-
straight out of Goodfellas. It's that
Yeah.
they pulled that and they expanded on it a little more, but that's the Goodfellas scene. What do you do when it's all done? You light a match.
Well, so I'm just thinking time wise. What else? We had Black Adam.
Well, I mean, I'll make my point here. I'll round this all off. So now that
point,
James
dude.
Gunn is heading this up, funny enough, today James Gunn said the first person he called to tell was Kevin Feige, who's the head of Marvel. Was like, hey, got this opportunity, I'm gonna take it.
Well, because he was doing some stuff with them, wasn't he?
So Kevin Feige had said prior, I think like yesterday, day before, so as long as he's paying attention to what he's got to do for us, and once he's done, I wish him all the best, and I'll watch everything. I'll be the first person in line to watch what he does going forward. So I think it brings new life, new energy. Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. I'm curious, would you have Robert Pattinson come in as Batman with that
I
Superman?
feel like they're
don't
going to
think
join
so.
them all together. Up, Rob Pattinson.
They got to stop
coming
with
in.
the switching of the roles.
They're gonna have a
like,
multiverse.
it's tough.
They're gonna
every
bring
time
back
we have a
Batman
change
nipples
in
and everything.
leadership, we're going to have a different Batman. Like, no. Like, let him be Batman.
Don't-
You know,
I
that's
think
it. Give him his run, and then
don't
let's
worry
see
about-
where it goes.
Well, don't worry about Justice League for fucking 4 years. That's all I'm saying. Wait to fucking do it. Build something.
I think they
Really
are, 'cause,
give
like-
Superman his movie.
They need
Like,
their
we
phase
need-
1.
In
Yes.
Peacemaker, he
Yes.
keeps Peacemaker, like they'll refer to Aquaman and they refer to Batman.
They're not going to recast Wonder Woman. That's not going to be a thing.
Definitely. I don't
She's
think
not-
she
you
has any
can't.
interest. I mean, I guess now that Henry Cavill's back, maybe a lot of those guys. Actually,
I heard
who
something
played
that,
Cyborg?
but I heard something about Batman being what's his name again?
Ben Affleck?
Yeah, Batfleck.
Jesus Christ.
That'd
So
be
yeah,
it.
it
well,
gets-
there is a leadership change, so maybe you'll have a different opinion of it.
All I'm thinking is it's a tall fucking task, but I don't care. There's no dichotomy. If you're a Marvel fan, you don't have to not be a DC fan. Everybody wants to see good Superman movies, good Batman movies, good Green
You
Lantern.
could be a
shit.
fan of Brett,
Come
and you
on,
could be a
it's-
fan of Sean.
I don't know
You
about
have
that.
to pick one or the other.
So yeah, that's
know
the
about
wrap up there though. It's exciting times. You know, we're gonna see Marvel kick off at the end of this year, next year with this next phase. And
What about video
DC's
games?
on
That new DC game sucks. Is there a new
Which
DC game?
Injustice, Justice 2. That's the only one
What
I
are
know.
you
of.
talking about, dude?
Oh yeah, he's talking about Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights.
Oh,
speaking
well,
of
I
heard
frame
that was
rates,
terrible.
Chris is
I
right.
canceled my fucking pre-order on that when they announced 2 days before the fucking game's coming out.
30.
That it's going to be locked at 34K.
30 frames per second.
On top of that, they canceled the current gen version just so they could primarily focus on next gen, and they're still not able to get fucking 60 frames.
And guess what? The founders of the studio, Rocksteady, they fucking left. They just announced they were leaving. So I don't know what is going on.
that
That's a
game,
shame for
uh,
Rocksteady because
Love those fucking.
That was a game that
Batman
was on my
games.
list that was like hyped, and I'm just
Well, because when
There
talking
is
about
still-
comic books and DC and Marvel, video games is a huge part of that.
Definitely,
And
there
if
is
your
a
games aren't in
Suicide
order.
Squad game coming from them
Yep,
that still
yep.
looks fucking
well,
awesome.
we'll see. It's
Yeah,
too-
well,
it's too
nothing's
early.
gonna
going to
be
hold a
30 frames per
candle to
second
the
now.
Wolverine game, though.
Nothing to hold a candle.
Yeah.
Well,
The
they're trying to sell
Wolverine,
you a
that's
Batman
gonna be
game
the
with no
fucking
Batman.
best.
I think that's
The best superhero
probably
game
where
is
a
still
lot
those
of people's
Arkham Knight
bad
games.
tastes
I don't
coming
care what
from,
anybody
too.
says.
Never played. I kind
They're
of.
the best
I wish I
games.
played them. I never played
They're
them.
Which
the
one?
Any
best.
comments
Arkham
on?
Knight games.
Oh, you
They're
guys want to see
absolutely
this
great.
slap? You want to
Except
see
for the
slap?
fucking Riddler trophies. Holy shit.
I Ryan I edit said maybe Gunn can give us a live action movie of that Scooby Doo meets Batman.
That's what he said. He said he's gonna do. He's gonna bring in.
Batman.
James Gunn said he's going to bring in the most powerful comic book character, Scooby Doo, into the universe. So
Shaggy.
Shaggy, Ultra Instinct.
damn thing.
Ultra Instinct Shaggy.
So
like,
moving along into our final 2 segments of the show, in honor of our 1-year anniversary, I think it's only justified that we do a Who Stays, Who Goes,
go.
which is a heavy part of the first couple of episodes of the
Yeah, we're
Break Room
bringing him back.
podcast.
We're bringing back
So,
Who Stays Who
in
Goes.
honor of our 1 year, I think we should do a fun one in regards to TV. So I have 3 TV shows on the list, and you have to eliminate one of them.
Okay.
Nothing that we've done before. No Sopranos or anything.
Nope, it's all 3 new choices.
Okay.
Beautiful.
You ready for the 3?
What are the 3
hear 'em.
choices?
Stranger Things,
Okay.
House of the Dragons,
Dragon.
The Mandalorian.
That's tough.
Who wants to
I
start?
like that.
Rob, you want to kick us off?
It's a good.
That's a good one.
Good
Let me
trinity.
think about this for a
It's a
second.
holy
it.
trinity
So
of
it's
modern.
Stranger Things,
Stranger Things,
House of the Dragons,
House of the Dragons.
Mandalorian.
Correct.
Who
House of the
stays? Who
Dragons.
goes? Guys, this
You
is
said
a
you had to
que-
think about it for
This
a
is a
minute.
question for the audience
I'm
too.
saying-
Which one are you getting rid
House
of?
of the Dragons.
He
You
didn't,
had to
even,
pick.
he didn't even fucking give it 10 seconds. That's it?
You didn't watch the
I came
finale
up with
yet.
it. I didn't see the
Wow.
finale, no, but
You didn't watch the fucking
I
finale?
didn't get to have the chance. You know, I have a fucking
The chance. What the fuck?
All right, give me more context to that. Why are you eliminating House of the Dragons?
I already know what he's
That
doing.
means you
Because I
don't-
like Stranger Things and The Mandalorian more than that show.
All right.
And it's really based on that. That's what I'm basing it on, is that I enjoy Stranger Things.
All right, so no
A
more
lot.
three
I
more
love
seasons
Stranger
of House of
Things.
Dragons does not exist now because Rob says
The
no.
redemption
Christ.
of Game of Thrones.
That's it.
It is the redemption. of
Chris,
Game
I
of
know you're
Thrones.
not voting out House of the Dragons, so
The rest of you are probably
Mando's
going to go
out.
for Stranger
Well,
Things.
actually, he didn't watch Stranger Things.
I
so
did watch. I watched Stranger Things season 1 and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love the music. I love how they nail the 80s. That just that, like that. there's a certain like it's like the feeling, and they nail that feeling perfectly. And the 80s is, I feel like it could either go really cheesy if they try to do something like, oh, it's in the 80s. It could be like a little too campy, but they nail it perfectly. I love like the dynamic of like those children. But with that said, fuck those kids. Fuck them kids. House of the Dragon is going nowhere. I love that story. Daemon Targaryen was always my favorite Targaryen. So to see Matt Smith depicting him doing so well, and all the other actors, every one of those people. I mean, like, Patty, the
Viserys was fucking
King
great.
Viserys. Like, that is like fucking, I don't know, Oscar or whatever they win. Emmys, what do they win?
It's an Emmy.
He deserves that for that. And I love Stranger Things, but I don't think anyone's given an Oscar performance yet. Maybe they have. They probably won an Oscar. I don't know what I'm fucking talking about. And then Mandalorian, I mean, it's been so good. It's in some ways
the finest Star Wars storytelling. Since
and they, it
Lucas
redeemed
originally
Star
had the
Wars a
helm.
bit. Stuff comes out. People, especially that last trilogy, that left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And I think Mandalorian just, again, they're nailing like that feeling, that Star Wars feeling.
From the music to the fucking like
the music
the
is great.
The it's not Skywalker all the time.
There's a little bit of it, and new technology.
They're giving us some moments. Mando's giving us.
They're
moments.
giving us
moments.
enough, but not too much.
Yeah,
It's been all right.
I
I'm
don't-
mulling it over.
I
have the
haven't
most time
hated
to
any
think
of
on
it,
this,
and I consider I
so
almost
nothing's
feel like
going because nobody's agreeing on anything in this one.
Well,
I feel like Book of Boba and Mando are kind of the same show, so I'm like grouping
Book of
them
Boba.
together.
I can go. I
Mando.
can do without Book
There's
of
no
Boba.
Book of Boba if there's no Mando, so
Although
you
Mando!
Hey, Mando!
Spice,
Have some
Mando! Forget
spice,
about
Mando.
the kid.
do the drugs, Mando. Forget about the kid. Come on, Mando. Fucking love him. So yeah, I mean,
you're voting out Stranger Things.
I'm voting Stranger Things
Okay.
for all of the reasons I just said.
Damn, that's tough. Those are definitely some top. Those shows are probably in the top 10 all time of my favorites.
All time.
All time. I
Wow.
think. I mean, come on, fucking.
House of Dragons is already top 10 all time.
I find House of Dragons to be an extension of Game of Thrones. To me, it's all because it's in the same universe, and it really is. We're
So
talking
wait,
Targaryen lineage.
That
and-
raises an interesting question, though. If you're voting off House of Dragons, are you also voting out
course.
Game of Thrones
No.
and everything that goes?
No,
with it?
no, because I would say if you voted off Game of Thrones, you got rid of House of Dragons.
voting off Game of
But if you voted off House of Dragons,
only-
Didn't we already
you
vote off
only-
Game of Thrones? What was that?
what was that for? I don't remember what
We did Game of Thrones.
That probably
we
did, 'cause
Sopranos.
that
Game
Game
of
of
Thrones,
Thrones was dead at the
Sopranos, and Lord
time.
of the Rings.
No, we voted off Breaking Bad.
Now, the
on that
one
episode.
complication
Oh,
is
yeah.
this: Stranger Things and Mando are uniquely television. House of the Dragon you could consume in other ways.
What do you mean?
like in a
There's
theater.
Fire and Blood. There's the World of Ice and Fire. There's the Targaryen fucking lineage book we just got. You could theoretically.
No. But see, I remember if you're gonna try to make that argument, I'm pretty
no,
sure it all
no.
snapped and it's all gone.
No, I'm just saying.
Right?
I'm just saying. A matter of
Those are
fact.
those rules that you guys
if I
have
had to-
created.
I'm getting rid of Mando.
Holy
Yeah, I'm
shit!
really-
Mando,
Yeah.
come on, Mando.
That's
Mando
three different fucking choices.
provides really good moments.
Wow.
And then there are some very
No
fluffy
Grogu.
Those
horseshit
fucking scooter
episodes.
kids
He doesn't
are
like Grogu.
Never,
Vin does not like Grogu. I could
I
see
hate
it.
no, it's the scooter kids.
Wow.
Scooter
and
kids.
the
No,
beige
it's,
colors.
It's some. It's. And also, we're a little far
Or not
removed.
beige,
I haven't
rather.
seen Mando in fucking a year and a half. I just watched,
There's
in
more-
Game of Thrones.
yeah.
We just saw George Martin fucking
Yeah,
last
yeah.
night, so
Boom.
hard for
Which
me
we
to
have to
be
talk about.
unbiased. But if I were to say, because there's just so much Star Wars, like, Mando is excellent, and Grogu is awesome. We don't know where it's gonna go yet, but I don't know. Sometimes
It would
some
still be Star
episodes are a
Wars.
little. It would still. It's
It would
still
stand
Star
on its own
Wars.
as Star Wars without the Mandalorian, even though the Mandalorian's great.
And I love fucking Stranger Things. I could watch that shit. It's such a nostalgic thing for me. The kids and it's unique. They're not copying something else. There's no source material. It's an originally
They're
written.
Stranger
copying
Things?
Goonies. They're copying
Stranger
Ghostbusters
Things
a
is
little bit.
copying,
Inspired by that's
the
fine.
beauty of the
Borrowing
Stranger
a lot.
Things
There's no sort-
storytelling is that
there's
it
no
matures.
source material. There's no book to look to. There's no comic series. It's not The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones or any of the other shit
It's
that
an
we watch.
original. It's an original IP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoy.
This is a good topic then, because I was going to put The Walking Dead in there, but I knew we would all vote that off.
nobody-
So
Yeah,
fuck
be
The
done.
Walking
that's why I didn't even include it.
No, these are
Never
these are
seen The
three-
Walking Dead.
These are
My
three
mother
very,
would
I would hate
You
to
never
see,
watched one episode of The Walking
the first
Dead.
episode's the best. It's like Sopranos.
I was gonna start watching
is
Walking
best.
Dead, but then everybody was like, "It sucks now. It sucks." Don't
watch
watch
the first
it, you know?
3-4 seasons.
But
First
I do. I
first
want to
3 or
see
4
it.
Great.
I'd
Oh,
probably
yeah.
It's really, especially now in
First
Halloween
3-4
era.
seasons outstanding.
Bro, that first
Outstanding.
episode is fucking like a
Outstanding.
movie. It's great.
It is good.
Yeah, it's a very enjoyable fucking.
I'll
first episode.
watch that. We'll add it on the list behind Donnie Brasco.
But yeah, I
Put
guess
on
if
there.
I was
My
gonna go
mother
with that
watched it
one,
until she died. She
but-
loved it.
So it's up to me now, because whatever I pick is eliminated.
Yeah, this is a credit to what they did on House of the Dragon.
Or if it's
No.
is there a way to tie?
No.
So we
Whatever I
have-
pick is eliminated.
So we have
because
one
he
vote.
picked House, you picked Stranger Things, and he picked Mando. So whatever I pick is eliminated.
He loves the power. Look at him. He's fucking drunk with power.
That's why he wanted to go last.
Oh man, I didn't expect Vin to say Mando. I did not expect that.
Yeah.
I've only seen the first 2
I didn't
seasons of Stranger Things, and it was against my will. Actually, I'm really enjoying the show now that I'm caught up with the first 2 seasons. So I do have to get to season 3, season 4 at some point, and I know season 5 is going to be the finale. For me, there's no way I'm going to eliminate House of the Dragons, because I think that's the most enjoyment I've had watching a show in anticipation, like on a weekly schedule, in quite some time. And
Plus
I'm
you
not the
love Millie
biggest Game of
Alcock.
Thrones fan, but I like it enough to know that I'm hooked. It hooked me so much that I'm going to rewatch Thrones from start
What's
to finish.
astonishing about this show, and for anybody that's wondering what happened to Vin, he went to take a piss.
That's it. He's dead.
What's astonishing about House of the Dragon is that it seems to be like getting people who didn't watch, which there are people who didn't watch Game of Thrones, but they're watching, like people that I used to work with that never gave a shit about Game of Thrones. I see like tweeting about House of the Dragon, like little inside jokes, and
Well, if
even
you think
my
about
girlfriend.
it, this is like the beginning of a new show. When Game of Thrones first came out, it didn't have the audience that
Yeah.
it ended up with. You know what I mean?
So I'm not going to eliminate House of Dragons. Mandalorian for me is, like Rob said, the best Star Wars that we've had since the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
The emotion that you get from some of those episodes, because they harken back to your nostalgia, but they don't ruin it. They don't shit on it. They don't piss on it. They don't step on it, like the sequel trilogy did, kind of almost ruin like your childhood in a sense, or all the love and fandom that you have for Star Wars. They tried every fucking way to fucking ruin it with those sequels, which is why they're heralded as the drizzling shits, which is a Jim Cornette-ism, the drizzling
Well, that was
shits.
an
Drizzling shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I'm going to eliminate Stranger Things. Stranger Things is gone.
Dead.
That's it.
Dead.
Stranger
Done.
Things is dead.
It's a wrap.
It's snapped.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's fair because I didn't see the end of House of Dragons yet.
We're
so I'm
about
sure
to
that's
spoil
good.
it for you, because
But
too bad.
I know. But like,
yeah, we are.
I'm also basing that on the fact, and people are gonna call me crazy and shit, but I was enjoying the Lord of the Rings show more.
I don't
We
think
haven't even- we haven't even talked
But I
about
think
that.
I like the Lord of the Rings world better than the House of
fucking
Dragons
way.
world, the Game of Thrones world. Because I feel like in the Game of Thrones world, everybody's a piece of shit,
That's why I love
everyone's.
and it's all pieces of shit fighting for
Like
the
Shawn Michaels.
Nah, they're not all pieces of shit.
A
It's a lot.
lot-
It's great
Everybody
characters.
that's good gets killed. Everybody.
No,
Ned Stark.
Jon Snow lives. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
when is that show
He
coming
got
out?
killed and then
Jon
came
Snow
back.
show?
Yeah.
That's true.
He literally got
But
killed and came back.
But so did fucking Gandalf.
Yeah, but like,
How do you know that?
There's a
You've
lot
never
of-
even
Because
watched.
it's been spoiled for me, dude.
but there's
I
a
know.
lot of good people in fucking Lord of the Rings.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Bilbo was a good
But
person.
that's the difference between
Frodo was a
George
good
R.
person. Gimli was a good person. Legolas
right,
was a
but
good
that's
person.
not life. That's not
Aragorn.
real life. Everybody
I'm
is
saying that-
gray, you know?
There was shitty people. There was fucking. You would love Grimer
Boromir.
Wormtongue, that fucking guy, because you like the slimy cocksuckers. you would love him.
I was chanting all the
Corrupted
heels
king
at the
and shit.
wrestling show
You
we went
always
to.
chant the heels. You cheered the guy that fucking got slammed through the table by the time.
So I don't know if you heard, Vin, but we voted out Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stranger Things bit the
Joe.
dust.
Yeah.
I felt it was the most vulnerable, honestly, in this room especially.
What's really like kind of cute about Stranger Things is my nieces have been watching it and they're like binge watch.
that's
I think
good.
they finished it and they're
Yeah.
like 9.
It's definitely a really good show to binge watch.
What I appreciate
That-
about it is that the story matures with the seasons as they mature.
Yeah,
it started as the Goonies, and now it's like Freddy Krueger.
It's like Harry
Yes.
Potter too. Kind of was like that, where like it starts like it's written
Yep.
for kids, but then it matures with them.
Exactly.
You know, over
And
time.
I think that's why it's like masterful storytelling with seasons behind it to back that up. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, and that's the thing.
And I
House
have
of the
full
Dragon's got
confidence.
one
I mean,
season.
you know, this is to be, going out on a limb, but I have full confidence that it's going to be a full, well-rounded story. Like, I think it's going to be good from beginning to end.
I think that's a credit to what the fuck they just did on House of the Dragon. Because to be honest, 6 months ago, skeptical. Game of Thrones ended fucking not the way people wanted, and we were very down on it. Chris was always, never wavered,
Never faltered.
never.
Unwavering support.
And I always agreed with him. I said, that people want to be in that universe.
I'm sorry.
Go.
I want to address the stupid fucks in the audience watching in the comments. Yao was one of them.
The stupid fucks
In
who
this
watch
case,
us.
the stupid fucks who watch us, thank you very
Our
much. We love you.
friends.
But I
Stupid
disagree with you,
fucking game.
all right? Who tried to say, no, they were stupid fucks because they tried to say House of Dragon is going to suck. I'm not going to even
I'm not
watch
even gonna
it.
watch it. It
I
was
didn't
a
like
bullshit
season 8, so I'm
statement.
not going to
Yeah,
watch
that was
it.
bullshit.
You lying fuck. You stupid fuck. Apologize. All right? I'll be waiting. Apologize.
So there was a tall task to my hopes for House of the Dragon were it was going to rekindle the passion and interest. That's right. It was going to rekindle the passion and interest
Where's the crown?
in Game of Thrones, in the world of Westeros, the world of Ice and Fire.
Better not be Columbus up
it
there.
would create room for spin-offs that we've always kind of wanted because some of us know about the alternate tales and stories and
Duncan
histories.
Egg
Yeah,
and all
can't
the
wait
other
for Duncan Egg.
Targaryens, Aegon's Conquest.
Robert's Rebellion would be a fucking incredible show.
Well, you didn't tell me. You didn't answer me about that Jon Snow show. When is that a thing? Is
Jon
it real?
Snow
Is it
show.
coming
It's
out?
a
Kit
real
Harington's
thing.
trying to put
So
it together.
Kit Harington was that. Apparently, the cast was not happy with the ending because now it's.
Oh, I know.
It's been
they
long
wanted
enough.
it retcon. They wanted it redone.
Arya came out.
Yeah, I
and
know.
Said,
Yeah.
Maisie Williams said, "Hey, it kind of at the end, but she said I'd be willing to come back in the right time, in the right place, with the right people."
For a
so
Dream
hey,
of Spring.
and guess what she has? She has
Catspaw
the
dagger.
Catspaw dagger.
Yeah, or
so
the
that dagger they keep
Aegon's-
fucking showing
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
this fucking.
Yeah.
We've seen that in every
Which I own.
episode.
Yeah.
I own it.
He did buy it.
I
So
have it.
that's just a credit to what they did, and they did the right things. They told the story authentically. Luckily, we have a story with a beginning, middle, and end, so it can't get fumbled in the fucking middle. George Martin said it should be a 4-season, 10-episode per season, so 40 episodes for House of the Dragon.
Talk us through that event you guys just went to this week.
So
Oh,
that was
man.
awesome. That was fucking cool.
You guys
we
bring the
saw
book? You didn't bring the book, right?
I didn't bring the
Ah,
book
so
because
we don't
it's
have-
It's
well,
autographed.
I don't want it to get damaged. So that's the thing.
Damaged.
it's autographed.
Well, yeah,
I had to bring it to
Back here,
The
work.
belt,
autograph.
but I mean, so here's the thing.
Put it in a fucking.
So it was in New York City,
sleeve.
Symphony Space. It was a panel discussion between George R. Martin and Neil Gaiman, who,
Yes.
if you don't
Awesome.
know, is another very accomplished, very famous, rich
You did
author.
the Sandman, if you watch that show.
Yeah,
the
Sandman, American Gods.
mythology book.
The Norse, yeah, the Norse. Didn't you do that book? Because
You did.
I read it, and I think you did it after.
What's
You know
that?
the book with Mjolnir on it?
Norse mythology book.
It's all about Thor and Odin, and it's like the real. It's like the more
If
authentic.
you don't have it,
I
I'm
might
gonna.
have.
that book's
I
for
think you
dude.
did it after I did it. I remember you talking about it. But yeah, Neil Gaiman wrote that. So what
And he
was pretty
said,
cool.
What did Neil Gaiman say? Actually, they put that book in the Scandinavian Norse mythology museum. So because and he took that as like.
And a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, he wanted to write something historical and authentic, but he played with it a little bit. He wanted to keep it in the boundaries, but he took it as like a real sign, like a stamp of approval on what he did, because that book is sold in the official Norse museum in Scandinavia.
There was a lot of
That's
stuff
awesome.
they discussed, but
That'd be cool to go see.
Yeah, dude. They gotta have like a Mjolnir thing.
I'm having a
Oh,
There
he's
it
having
is.
a
There it
sneeze
comes.
fest.
There it comes. There it comes.
Having a
Cover.
having a sneeze.
So yeah,
was a
New
short
York
one.
City, George R. R. Martin sit down.
Oh, there it is.
Autographed versions of his latest book, which is a beautifully illustrated history of the Targaryen reign. It's volume 1 of the Targaryens. So it breaks down from the conquest. So
Probably
Aegon's
till
conquest.
Aegon II, I would guess.
It looks like it cuts off right about where we are going to end up
Aegon
in the
III,
show.
I mean,
So it seems like it's going to end where the Dance of the Dragons ends.
How many people were in attendance?
600.
it was a couple hundred. It was masks were required. I want to talk about what it was actually like. So, I mentioned when I met McFoley that I realized I really don't like the
transactional aspect
the
of meeting
transactional
someone that you're a
aspect.
celebrity?
Yeah, exactly. You go, you get an autograph, you pay. It feels very transactional. I don't think they're actually really genuinely that happy to see
Unless
you.
you're Bret Hart and you stay like an hour late and let everybody who goes around that circle get an autograph.
McFoley did that too. McFoley stayed as long as he had to. But
And
it
George
was,
Martin tells a story about that.
but it was
too.
funny because so instead of that, you buy the ticket, you get a voucher. When you walk in the door, they immediately hand you an autograph book, so you don't have to wait on a line to get an autograph. And then you take
There's
your
no
seats.
awkward fucking bullshit interaction that nobody cares about, you nor him.
Yeah, some asshole in front of you that's like, shut the fuck up so I can go, like none of that. They handed you the books. They had a pile of them. No, because I was about to meet McFoley. Like, these people were talking to him for like 30 minutes, and then I'm there, and it's like I'm rushed out. What the fuck?
George Martin tells a very good story about this. So
Yeah,
I'll say after.
Well, so that was what I want to say is we all got the same experience. We all got to sit down. We got to all see them chat on the stage, and the first thing they started talking about was how they hated autograph signings.
Yeah.
Because they were like, they were discussing it like 300 people's a good amount. That's how he talks. 300 people's a good amount, but anything above that like sucks because your hand is swollen.
He started with this whole thing kind of spawned from the conversation of his stuff was not successful until later in life. Yeah. Took him years of persistence. He was successful in Hollywood for a little while doing TV and Twilight Zone, and so he was kind of walking us through his career. Neil Gaiman was asking about being a writer and all this, and he gets to this point where he basically tells a story where he was going to a bookstore. There was all these cars, all these people waiting. He thought it was for him.
This was
Goes
after
inside.
like 3 book signings where only 10 people showed up.
10 people,
And then he goes to one and
he's
tons
hyped.
of people.
Tons of people. Turns out all the people were there for Clifford the Big Red Dog. They weren't even there for him. So there's 2 signings in the same big bookstore, and he just kind of walked in, and it was a check on his ego. But as he says, as things continued to,
He didn't become rich and famous until he was in his 60s.
Yeah.
Like he became
his third book finally hit the New York Times bestseller for like a week. So his point was, the goings were rough, and then it got to a point, hundreds of people would show up. It was fucking amazing. But then thousands of people would show up. And it was fucking undoable. Rob, you probably are the best person to maybe speak to this. I was thinking of you when he's telling this story. He was talking about it, he was lucky for it to go this way because he doesn't think he would have handled the fame as a young person well because it goes to your head whatever happens. So he's talking about having to sign 600, 1,000 fucking autographs.
Right.
Everyone wants to hug you. He's talking about he got 1,000 hugs when he was down in
Handshakes.
Mexico. All these, and he. And Neil Gaiman said a funny story where he met one of his heroes, and it was transactional and awkward, and it was kind of like, meh, And what we experienced was a million times better. It would have been much preferable to watch.
Than waiting on a line for hours.
There are things like that. Like The Undertaker's been actually doing tours where he gives you like an autograph and you sit down and he does a live show.
That's the way to do it. I think that's the new format.
Yeah.
Brett,
Yeah.
any of them. It would be interesting to watch. Who's the guy we were just saying the podcast, the wrestling podcast?
Conrad.
Conrad.
They
Imagine
do-
him
they
and
do-
Brett or something on stage. And
They do that,
You pay
yeah.
the
They do
money,
do
go
that.
sit.
They do
We
do
would
that.
do that
Yeah,
shit.
I would love to do that.
We should, because
They
this
still do
was
anything in New York.
very enjoyable. The one downside was
I already know what you're gonna say, and I'm gonna agree. So, the advertising
Lebowski.
was saying that they're gonna talk a lot about Targaryens and dragons.
House of the Dragon.
But most of what they spoke about was like the struggles of being an author, which in some respects I'm glad because I was able to relate, just in terms of not having the level of success that you might want, or we're
career
doing a
taking
show and
off.
only 3 people watch, or but he was saying too, what makes it worth it is those three people, Tricky Ricky and From the Dungeon, like that alone can make it worth it, whether it's a small amount or a large amount. And
You're worth it, Tricky Ricky.
yes, absolutely. All the thousands of dollars we spent for
And
you.
millions.
And millions. So yeah, I would say that was a preferred.
I wanted a little
experience.
bit more lore discussion. I wanted a little bit more.
Fucking George R. R. Martin's fucking answers. Just you could tell. Yeah, this book has taken 8 years to write.
Yeah.
You could see fucking why.
He's
This
very,
guy-
every
Smith,
response he was very deliberate about and had a story, even if the question sucked.
It
And
goes.
some of the questions sucked too. I wish I got a
Where do
question.
they get the questions from?
So
There was
apparently you were
Twitter.
supposed to submit them on like Twitter beforehand, which I didn't get to. And I would have asked him two things: who's going to narrate the next audiobook? Nail that. Which Zach mentions in the comments too. Listen to a song in Ice and Fire audiobooks, you stupid fucks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, agreed.
Narrated by Roy Dotrice, phenomenal
Roy
audiobooks,
Dotrice.
but he passed away.
Wrong.
So I wanted to know who first. Could you tell us a nice story about Roy Dotrice, which I think he would have appreciated, and it's something that people don't always ask. And then next, have you put any consideration who might narrate the next audiobooks? And I also want to know, what is Valyrian steel made out of? Is it obsidian melted with steel in Dragonfire? Let me know, George. But didn't get to ask any of those questions, and the questions that people asked kind of sucked, in my opinion.
Yeah, those questions, they were non-specific.
Squandered.
They give too much room for the generic answer. There
Right.
wasn't like
Yeah.
looking for an answer. It was just
Yeah.
like, oh, let's listen to him kind of
There's
meander
no validity
through.
to the answer. It's just
Like, okay, you
lots of ins, lots of outs, lots of
lots
what have
outs.
you.
Okay, Neil Gaiman's just like, all right, George. So we got about 25 of these. We're gonna do one more. So let's make it a good one. But it was a
Hey, man.
worthwhile experience.
I was,
Getting the book,
yeah.
seeing him write. He actually.
So they didn't talk a lot about Targaryens. Can we do it now? Can we talk about the fucking finale?
Well, just
I'm
before
in.
that, I do want to mention when we were leaving, this is pretty cool, and we'll throw a picture up on the page or social media or whatever, but when we were leaving out the front door, George R. R.
I
Martin
saw
walked
that. He
right
posted it
past
on
us.
our. You don't.
Oh,
You,
he
don't,
posted it already? I don't
you
know.
must not ever look at our social media.
I don't look at any
Sorry,
You're a
social
busy
media.
guy. You're
Vin
too
does
busy.
all
I
that.
haven't
No
been on
problem.
any social media.
No problem. No problem.
Fucking guy.
Not our own show.
Yeah,
So no, it was funny.
He walked right past us.
We went to stand in line because they were selling additional copies of his other book that were signed, and we fucked up. We got kind of confused.
We didn't
went.
fuck up. They fucked
well,
up.
yeah, we went to the table, and then the line
we had to
started,
circle around the whole
and-
fucking arena to get on the back of the line of this book. We ended up where we were sitting, but we
we ended up
walked
all
and
the way
followed
back.
this lady with a sign all the way around.
And by
to
the
end of
time
this
they were
line,
sold out all the fucking books, so
Yeah,
we're like, fuck.
we got
all
off the
right.
line, but it worked out because timing wise, if that had not happened, we wouldn't have been at the front of the place when George R. R. Martin was walking right out, and the guy, he literally walked right past us. I didn't even know what to say.
Like a photo.
I didn't take photos because I don't want to be a paparazzi asshole, but Yao thankfully does not have those same
I'm the social
lack
media
of
guy for our
scruples.
fucking podcast, so I always have the fucking camera out and the fucking thing. No, so he, as we were walking out, we looked down this hallway and we
Is he
saw
taller
him
than
coming.
Chris?
And then
Vin was like, Chris,
I was like, drag your feet.
Drag your feet.
Guys, drag your feet.
and I knew it was George.
And
I knew it was him.
they turn. You see his handler come around the corner, and he literally turns around the corner, and he's just shuffling at us. And I was just like, "Thank you, George." And he like kind of cocked it. You can see it in the photos. He cocks his head and looks at me, and then
his
he's just like,
periphery for a brief second. He was like,
kept trucking along there.
He wanted to get the fuck out of it. He even said on the stage, he's like, "I'm leaving right after
Yeah, I'm
this.
going
I'm
straight to
gonna-
dinner after this.
I don't blame him.
He's 75 fucking years old or whatever
Yeah.
it is. So he's an
got
old
book.
man.
I got the books to write. I gotta write those books.
Anyway, that was a great
sweet
experience.
summer
So the next George R. R. Martin conversation's actually with Kevin Smith at the Smod Castle Theater down in fucking Red Bank there. And that's going to be an interesting
That's
conversation.
going to take forever.
That's
Oh.
because both of them
'Cause
will
they're
never
both
shut the fuck
Gaccherones.
up.
Forget it.
They're
Yeah.
both geeks. You know, Kevin Smith's going to be asking all sorts of. I think that's going to be more of a Targaryen House of the
What
I
is
Dragon.
that?
think he'll
conversation.
probably be better.
It's in 2 weeks.
I feel
It's
like
sold
Neil,
out. They
Neil
fucking-
Gaiman
Yao
approached it.
Yao was like, "We should go to this one instead of that one," and I was like, "Dude, we were just there. It's fucking like 2.5 hours away. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
a
not
drive.
It's
And we're going to hear
sucks.
the same stuff. But I do want to also mention something that was pretty cool was when we were riffing about Targaryens, which we'll get into in a sec. I actually mentioned to them because they were looking, Vin and Sam were looking at like the Targaryen dynasty tree. And I said to them, if you want to quiz me on my Targaryen knowledge, I can tell you every Targaryen that sat the throne. And then I started chatting with the guy in front of us, and it was cool. I feel like I don't really get
subscriber too.
Yeah, he subscribed right then and there. I told him we got the podcast, so he said he'd tune in. We appreciate you, man.
Plugged our show
We had
at
some
a-
good
at an
discussion
event.
about.
Chris is the best at that, actually. Anytime we game, Sea of Thieves.
Only if somebody else would.
I
do
always
that.
plug the
I do
show.
that all the time. Don't give me that shit. I put you on my fucking business card. Don't give me that shit.
Rob does have the business cards, but no, that
tell
was
everyone.
always nice.
Woo!
That was always nice. It's just that interaction with people where you get to chat with them a little bit.
Yeah, big fans. That was the
Is,
thing. It's like-minded.
Fellow super
what's
fans.
up
He
Something
was
you
a
did.
super fan. He was equal to Chris with the intense
You ate more
knowledge.
Oh,
subs
yeah.
than I did too.
No, he knew the lore.
So, me and you, we were audiobooks.
Shout out
You're
to
the
that
biggest. You're the definitely the.
I'm the biggest Game
biggest
of Thrones fan. Song of Ice
in
and
this
Fire.
room. I'm number 2.
Vin's
but,
up there.
But don't forget, Chris knows more about Star Wars than everybody in this room. too.
Oh,
Hey, that was in our first episode.
That was a joke
good
when
call.
I
That
said
was a
it.
year ago.
That was a joke.
Today.
That was stirring the pot.
Was that
for
the
sure.
first episode?
That was
Yes.
the first
That
episode.
might have been the second episode.
No, it was the first
That was
episode.
a year ago.
We were talking about games.
Bold
I thought the
statement of a year
first.
ago.
No.
Yeah, but see, I said that because I
We
knew
did a
that
Who
that
Stays
would
Who
light a
Goes
fire
of
under
Marvel,
Rob's
They
ass.
still
Star
had the
Wars,
Chris
and Lord
cam
of the
at that
Rings. That was
Lord
our
of the
first
Rings
Who
got
Stays Who.
canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we canceled
But
it.
when we got to Star Wars, Chris was like, "I know the most about Star Wars." Blah, blah,
But I
blah.
said that
We have that
intentionally
clip.
as a joke,
Sure.
just to get Rob's reaction. I control the cameras. I immediately cut the Rob after I said it because I wanted to see, and he did exactly what he's doing now. He had that little fucking shit-eating grin.
Nice.
So what
He's
did you
like-
guys think of? Yeah, that was episode 0, Zach. That was actually episode 0, the pilot.
Episode 0.
So we've read this stuff. We know. What do you guys think? What was your?
What do you wanna
reception
know
of
about
House- yeah,
Targaryens?
what was your reception of House of the Dragon? As previously, having watched Game of Thrones, did you guys enjoy it? Did you think it was as good as everybody's saying? What's your reaction?
Is there anything
to
you're
this?
confused about after
Chris
watching
can't
it?
wait to fucking tell you.
Can't wait to clarify.
We spent the hour and a half train ride home. I'm looking through the book, and he's literally just like, "Oh, so this guy, this is the Targaryen, and then fucking this and that." He couldn't wait to do it.
The
which
Maester,
is
bro.
very. Chris will do that while we're in the PlayStation party too. By the way,
My only question is,
By
what
request.
happened to Rhaenyra's baby daddy?
Laenor?
Yeah.
strong. He
Yeah.
was burned alive.
Wait. Oh, you mean her actual baby daddy, the strong guy, or
Of the
Laenor,
two kids.
the guy she
He was
married?
burned. Remember when?
No, not the guy she married. The guy she married went off on a boat and
Oh, okay,
He was,
yeah.
He
Oh,
was
yeah.
murdered by his brother in the fire.
The clubfoot. You remember when the clubfoot?
oh,
when there
that's
was
right in the furnace.
Him
and the
yeah,
dad
yeah,
Is
yeah,
How Strong? You
How
have
Strong
the
is
father,
killed
which
the
is
general.
Lionel,
Yep.
and then the two sons, which is
Yep.
Harwin, who was
Yep.
Breakbones,
Yep.
and then the clubfoot Laris, and
Yep.
Laris killed them both.
Yep,
Yep.
he likes
Piece of
feet.
shit.
Please let me touch your feet.
Yeah,
And that's because of his
he-
dad.
okay. Do we talk about that on here yet? The
Not at
feet?
all. We haven't even recapped.
All
any
right,
of the
so
last, like, 7
I will
episodes.
say that the Laris, the clubfoot, jerking off to the feet, that is not in the books at all.
Well, nobody
But-
would have witnessed that.
That's true. Nobody would have witnessed it
Mushroom,
to
nobody
attest
was in
to
that
it.
room.
Mushroom would have mentioned it. Mushroom would have seen it
If he was in
if
the
he was
room.
in the show. But
Laris is fucking clearly so conniving.
I liked it. It was
Yeah.
a welcome addition. I was like, oh, okay. This,
It informs you. It
you know.
informs you about the
If
character.
you want the House of Dragons OnlyFans,
It
it's,
informs
Yeah.
you
Oh my
about the
God.
relationship and the dynamic between Allison and
the father's the
Laris.
hand, she's the foot. You know.
Oh yeah, that was instant. That was so memeable.
I thought about that. You know what I'm pissed is I wanted to make a meme of fucking what's his name, Otto Hightower. It looked like he
Oh,
was
the
rolling a
joint?
fucking J.
Bro, the
And
internet's
it's some-
quick. You got
the internet's
fucking...
quick. Yeah, there's no
Oh
original.
shit,
I
John
want-
Cena's in the room. Hello, John Cena. Oh wait, I can't see it. I can't see
Yeah,
it.
you can't see him, but he's here.
Whatchamacallit?
John Cena said hello.
Wait. How
Love
could
it.
you see him though?
He's in,
That's
well,
trying-
you
I-
saw the comments. We can't see
I
him,
saw
but
the
we
word
can see what he
hello.
types.
I can't see the photo though. It's blank. So no, I mean, I'm a diehard Game of Thrones fan. I would give the show.
Can we give our total scores of the season?
Let's do it. Well, he didn't fucking watch the
Well,
finale.
it's
of
not
the
his
worst
fault.
podcast on
It's not his
earth.
fault.
I don't get a vote.
Bare minimum.
He's a busy
Well, but
guy.
you watched 9 episodes.
I watched all but the last episode.
All right, so I mean, you could
good.
give it a
It's good
rating. You know, the ending will be what really polishes it off. But you could rate
9
this.
is the penultimate. If you watch 9, you kind of get like a lot of the action or whatever.
What I left off with was that she had the dragon in front of everybody and she should have fucking blown them all away. But no, let me fly off. It was
That
one
also
word
didn't
and we
happen.
could have ended the whole show.
It wasn't her war. So
She would
another
have
thing.
taken the fucking crown. She would have killed everybody. She was next
so
to
to
her.
her
What's your
point-
score? Let me hear her rating.
I mean, I can't really give a rating because I didn't get the end.
Up until 9 episodes, and then we'll revisit this next week because we have to keep
I
talking
give it
about
an 8.
8 overall. Okay, it's fair.
Chris.
What are the
That's not fair.
What are the negatives? What are the negatives?
I just
Curious.
don't care about the characters.
Okay,
You know,
Do you think it's because the time jumps and the different actors?
that's part of it. I think.
that definitely took me out of a lot of it.
Yep,
Um,
it's tough. Never been done.
It's always been hard for me to adapt to a story with all new characters and so many characters at once, and then like I lose track of who's this and who's that. Why should I
I've
give a fuck
struggled.
about this? You know, then Rhaenyra's,
Rhaenyra's, Rhaenys.
her character changed with an
Laenor.
actress, and
What?
and
Lena.
I don't know. I can't find too many characters that I can resonate with and like.
Okay.
When I watched the original Game of Thrones, I
Yeah.
fucking loved Robert Baratheon.
Oh yeah.
I
I
mean,
fucking
he was
loved
so-
Ned Stark.
This is his crown, by the
you
way.
know-
This is a Baratheon crown.
Yeah,
That is the stag crown.
I felt passionately about people. Like I hated
Ned.
Joffrey. I
Yeah.
fucking hated
Yeah.
Cersei. Like
Yep.
I felt, it
More
drew
emotions.
emotion out of me with all these characters. With a House of Dragons, I don't feel that. I almost feel like I'm looking at it through a lens.
It's true. Yeah, I
And
get what you're
it's-
saying.
Well, you
It's-
kind of are because
if I would call the original Game of Thrones before the shitty ending a 9.5, I'm gonna call House of Dragons an 8.
I could see. Yeah, there's.
I'll go
definitely-
next because we'll just finish it with Sweet. I'd probably give the entire show an 8.8.
Nice.
And my only gripes would be that it could have spliced in a little bit more humor. I think we even talked about that at some point where
Chris was very
you didn't really have
critical
that
in the
one
start.
character who had like the jokes and the one-liners and stuff that you
Tyrion-esque.
the stuff that you kind of recite years later and you remember those things. It didn't really have those
Thank the
sticking
gods
points.
for Bessie.
Yeah. And the other thing, I thought that
You smell like
the
black
original
Mary Jane.
Rhaenyra actress, I would have liked to see her as the older Rhaenyra, and maybe a younger Rhaenyra would have played like the younger one. Because I
Gotcha.
thought that actress just had way more appeal. She had way
She's
better
beautiful.
presence. She's gorgeous. I thought she was like kind of like the heart of the show, and it kind of like lost a lot of flavor and a lot of impact when they switched over to the
Get old.
older.
to that point though, Joe.
Damon
A
stayed
lot
the
of
same.
people feel that way, but if in the books,
And I also thought the chemistry between Damon and Millie Alcock was more heavier. It
Yeah.
just felt more genuine,
Well, it
more
was.
impactful than it was when they shifted over.
Well, I mean,
Millie
in the
Alcock is
finale,
pretty.
he's choking her out. So, I think their
Interestingly
relationship
enough-
is strained at this point to a degree.
I mean, but even
Rhaenyra-
before that, when they got married in one of those episodes, it still didn't. It felt like they're just going through the paces and going
That's
through
what
the
happens when
motions.
you get married. You fucking-
Rhaenyra
yeah.
in the book gets very ugly. Funny enough, she gets fat.
I heard
Well,
that.
so that's
Yeah.
what I
heard-
wanted
'cause
to
she has
mention.
lots of kids, right?
She's like-
Yeah.
5 kids.
So part of the contention between
Doesn't matter.
Rhaenyra and
Okay.
Allison is that Allison keeps pumping out kids, and
Yeah.
she still stays
Right.
sexy as
Pretty.
hell.
So maybe that was their intent.
Rhaenyra gets fat and ugly. I'm glad that they didn't. She does. That's how they
Well, I
describe
mean, we
her.
have
They
3
say-
more seasons of this, so maybe she will.
Well, I mean, and hey, that would just be a testament to the actress.
If they
she can
change
get
the
fat
actress in a
and-
season, they could change it for a next one. You know?
But it does kind of almost coincide because people used to love her when she was young and beautiful, but then she has kids and
She
she's
becomes
kind of
Rhaenyra the Hutt.
light.
worn out. So
And I know
goes-
it's typical Game of Thrones to kind of leave you with a cliffhanger and have you salivating for what's next. The only caveat to that is not a year later. It's probably going to be 2 years now that we're going to have to wait. So I deducted a few points for that as well because I thought the ending was great, but it was abrupt and it kind of meandered to kind of get
I
to
know
that
why they
point.
did that, though. I mean,
Well, you wait your turn. It's Vin's turn next.
just letting
we're
you
gonna
know
finish with
before
you.
I
We keep
forget.
cutting you off,
There's a
bro.
reason they did
He's
that.
the god of fucking Game of Thrones.
Best looking guy in a room of 500. Go ahead, Vin. Let me hear the score.
No, 8.8. That's a
fair
great.
score.
That's a great
It's a
score.
fair score.
What are you putting?
Again, we're coming off of fucking Game of Thrones, which people didn't fucking like. So,
By the way,
like,
my
this
scale
week-
is a lot different than everybody else's when
yours
we've
is-
done this.
Joe
Joe's
rarely
scale,
has ever given above a 9.
I
for
trust Joe's
anything.
scale. It's very. It's very.
I trust his scale
it's
up until
harsh.
Bret Hart, and that's where the fucking
That's
trust
true.
ends.
I'll beat the fuck out of you.
There's a reason they don't sit on the
You see
couch
the thing I
together.
sent you with the Bret Hart wearing the UNCs? That he's wearing the Jordans.
Yeah.
Check your shit.
By the way, anyone in the comments, feel free to drop your ratings for House of the Dragons as Vin goes here too.
Oh yeah, I want to know if the fans would have gotten rid of.
I wanna know
one of those
Zach's
shows.
opinion, and I
yeah,
wanna know-
Zach, who stays, who goes in the shows?
who stays, who goes, and what do you rate it?
8.8.
I wanna know John Cena's opinion.
opinion. Shit. So I want to give House of the Dragon the 9. I want to give them the 9 because the task was fucking tall. they had to
Bring it back.
They had to recapture an audience that was very reluctant, especially casual users. Yeah, casual fucking viewers. Chris is not. I am not. I am sold. You could fucking come out with a bunch of that content. I'm going to consume it.
I'm a casual user, and I didn't miss an episode like
100%.
on a Sunday.
And that says a lot to
Made sure
me.
Sunday I got my food and I'm ready to go.
Because we could go back even into our own library and look at us talk about Game of Thrones.
And now I want to rewatch. Like I've only watched
Yes.
Game of Thrones start to finish once.
Oh, I can't.
There's episodes
man.
where I've watched multiple times, but I've never sat through it more than once. I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
And funny enough, I think this show is conditioned. There are no fucking heroes. I want everyone to understand. We're not going to watch some happy fucking ending bullshit.
There's kind of not even really any villains, which is
Well, that was to Rob's point. There
So
are...
I disagree. I
True.
think there are heroes and villains based off of your perception
yeah.
True.
and
Who
how
you
your
relate.
own and who you relate to.
Absolutely.
So
No, you're right.
There's not a black and white cut and dry
Well, it's
one.
the black and green.
But depending on
People love
depending-
Gaiman, and he's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
piece
yeah.
of shit.
No,
There's
I-
no way around. He's not He's not Ned Stark.
No.
Jesus Christ. Daemon Targaryen is a piece of shit, right?
No.
Why not?
So he's
Well,
Shawn
first of all,
Michaels.
that's like saying George Washington's a piece of
I
shit because
guess
he owned
he-
slaves.
he
You can't
fall-
judge people based on the era.
Well, no, I
He
just
falls in
say
the same
Daemon
category as like Rick Sanchez.
murdered his
He can
fucking
keep
first
his-
Supposed to
wife.
hate
he can
him,
keep
but-
his
He didn't
tongue.
murder her.
What?
Damon? He didn't murder his first wife. Her fucking horse reared.
No,
and she
he
fell
made
off.
the
Crushed her
horse
head.
rear you.
After
No.
she was paralyzed, and she
Come
said, "Oh, I knew
on.
you couldn't finish, you limp dick little fuck."
He put her out of her
And then he
misery,
put her
right?
out of
Yeah, he put her out of her
But they
misery.
even said in the post episode like recap, they said,
In
you
the
don't
book,
really
it's
know
not
if he was gonna kill.
defined.
In the book, it's not mentioned. Oh, but they
Yes.
say we don't know if Damon's gonna kill her here. He doesn't kill her. The horse kills her.
He's
He
had the
just
most.
give
finishes
him all
the
He's
the
job.
had the most
excuses.
badass scenes.
You
Period
give him
in
all
the
the
whole show.
excuses.
His
you
wife
want.
was a bitch.
I'm just saying.
It's like
there's-
saying the
bronze
gangster
bitch.
didn't kill the guy. The cement shoes did.
The horse killed her.
he's-
The horse
he's-
reared. She
he
fell off and
envies-
cracked her head.
I don't know, T. The guy
all right.
stabbed himself 3 times, threw himself out the
envies
window.
His brother, and in such envy, loves his brother's daughter. There's so much to that character.
great.
It's
Well, look,
very
they're
complicated.
They
still
really love to
together.
rub in the incest.
That's like
ads.
holding against Triple H
another
that he went to
thing. It's
China. That he went from China to Stephanie.
China
They're happily
isn't
married.
his
What?
sister. Or they're not.
But
Anyway,
you're
I'm
talking
just
about
saying,
Targaryens.
His
Damon
niece.
is just not. He's an anti-hero,
9-year-olds.
which is fine. I'm
8-year-olds,
not
dude.
He's
saying
a rogue.
He's a rogue.
He's
an
a
anti-hero.
rogue, but he's not a piece of shit. He does a lot of. You see, I mean,
I would do so. Damon does what needs to be done. He views things in the way that I think we've been conditioned as fans of Game of Thrones. We've watched too many of our heroes make the worst fucking decisions because they're making these decisions on values and morals, and you're like, no, you gotta fucking kill everybody, Ned. You can't fucking pretend that Cersei's not gonna fuck you over.
Damon
I
has
think
more of a mob mentality. He doesn't
Now-
leave anything. Doesn't leave anything
he
uncovered.
knows what the fucking
Yeah,
poor people think.
yeah.
He knows what the regular person
Yeah.
thinks. It's why he brings Rhaenyra down to get that feel for the real, like.
And then he tried to
what's-
fuck her.
And then he tries to fuck her, which I don't know if that's like good or bad, but people love
they're
it.
married.
apparently.
They're married with
Now
children.
they're married. She was fucking 14 when that happened.
8-year-olds, dude.
Anyway,
It's Game of
all right, so
Thrones, man.
it's
They were marrying
ambiguous.
girls
No,
when they were
it's
12.
Appropriately ambiguous. George Martin said it yesterday. We got a lot of great insight into George Martin's thinking when he says we love to view our historical characters in reality as good or bad. And when you find out bad things about the ones you thought were good, you just move them into the bad category, where in life, it's more ambiguous. People do good things on Monday, bad things on Tuesday, and it's just how humans are. So it's more authentic to see. It's not
good way of putting it.
defined, oh, he's good, oh, he's bad. But
This is
anyway,
the 80s
it's
where there's G.I.
interesting
Joe and
to
Cobra.
watch.
It's-
Absolutely. And it's interesting to watch the audience's reception to these kinds of characters, like a Damon.
So real quick, Zach hasn't watched House of Dragons yet, but he
But-
would eliminate Mandalorian.
He did say that
Nice,
he
Zach.
finished the
Me and you,
audiobook.
baby.
He finished book 1 of Game of Thrones, which is
Oh, that's great.
commendable.
How's
said
Zach eliminating fucking Mandalorian? He's like one of the biggest Star Wars fans we had.
No, he could be sitting right here right now. Right?
What the fuck?
Damn it,
Zach.
Get him on here.
So
I'm
my
glad that
rating
he did the
9
audiobook.
for again rekindling the interest and the passion. That fucking
That
that
deserves-
theater was not going to be packed.
He probably hates the biker gang too.
That theater last night would not have been packed if it was not for this fucking show.
Packed like what?
Again.
400 or 500? How many people?
Yeah, like 400 people.
It wasn't like Madison Square Garden. It
No,
was,
it was
it
a
was
good
a theater
theater.
with a couple hundred people.
Solid theater.
And
Empty seats? No empty seats?
There was one empty
maybe on
seat
the
next to my right because Shang
walked-
backed out, and
Yeah, you did.
I pretty much had an open seat next to me.
And I had to carry his fucking 10-pound book around New York City for the rest of the night.
Oh, wow.
No. So
Me and everyone else.
again, that's why it did what they really executed in such a way that I was very hopeful for. It brought people who didn't like the ending of Game of Thrones into the fold. It made people interested in reading the books. It opened up the avenues for new spin-offs and more content because I'm hungry
It's like
for
the
this shit.
cyberpunk anime made people start playing the
Yes,
game
yep.
again that initially fucking sucked.
The game was good, but broken. You know what I mean? Like just whatever they were trying to do, that
But,
fucking anime was
initially,
good,
everybody wrote
bro.
that game off because of
100%.
the launch.
That was and that's a risk. You're making that investment. You don't know if that's gonna fucking pay off. And I think that's why Joe went back to the game. I played the game after the
A lot
anime.
of people, yeah.
So a
I
9.
meant to, I just never
Great
got to.
acting. The visuals, the scenery, just seeing King's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing
Best looking
Storm's
dragons
End.
ever.
Yeah, the effects now. Now we're in this age of what they've been doing with Star Wars. They did use the volume. So in that scene when they're riding,
Still
the
too
dragons,
dark though, right, Chris?
It
No.
was
One
too dark
scene-
in that one
Yeah,
fucking
get a better
scene.
TV, you
Shitty TV.
fuckers. Get a better
You know,
TV.
I fucking watched that
Don't
episode.
do it.
I watched that episode and loved it, and I thought, "Wow, what a great episode!" I went to bed with a fucking smile on my face. I
Shit
woke
was
up
dark
and I
and
opened
everything. I didn't even
Twitter.
know who was fucking, what was happening.
On which
Fucking-
one?
You
Which
probably
one?
watched it with your
When the
fucking lights
dragon-
on.
With the no, I shut the lights. My father and I were in the dark. We're watching on the C1.
You had the fucking train set
We
running with
fucking-
the lights reflecting
No.
on the TV.
You want to see a fucking
set.
helicopter?
You see helicopters? Fucking helicopters.
Literally, I didn't know it was the kid with the dragon. I thought it was Rhaenyra running down the beach after she fucked her uncle. And
I saw that fine. I don't understand because it was moonlit.
fuck out of here.
It was. It happened
And-
at nighttime. It's supposed to be kind of dark.
night
Yeah, but
vision.
what am I
kinda-
gonna do for
and
this
it
fucking
says
show? To fucking see
I
blackness?
forgot the exact circumstances, but the tone and the scenery is a part of what's going on because Rhaenyra is going to Daemon in the dark there. I forgot what anyway.
Game of Thrones brought to you by Helen Keller. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
That
you
didn't
couldn't
watch
hear it
last
either?
episode.
Chris, let me hear your score. Take us home. You better not say 10, otherwise I'm going to get
I'm
up.
not gonna give it a 10 specifically for the reason that you mentioned. I think in
No
the
mushroom.
beginning,
No
episode
mushroom.
1 and with episode 1 and 2, I think I was more critical. I reservedly critical, but I didn't like that there wasn't as much humor. I said that. I didn't like that they took Mushroom out of it because he's an important account. The show's gone on without him, and it's fine.
And George Martin did reference the mushroom.
Yeah,
fans.
George R.R. Martin mentioned Mushroom, and then Vin was like, "Yeah," and then like the
I knew it
fucking
was for him.
crowd started going. He's like, "Oh, we got some Mushroom fans in here." I wish there was a little more humor, and but that apart from that,
Shit, that might
I'm gonna
be-
give it a 9.2. 9.2. Because apart from that, I loved it. There was some deviations from the books, but it was mostly true to the books. The deviations, some of them were welcome. There's little things that they added. It seemed like they had some like money and time on their hands to fuck around. Like they made that whole Viserys made that whole like city set. So that's like a prop that they spent a lot of time on. The carved table that lights up. They spent a lot of time on that. It seems like they
The
focused
what was that? The stag, the hunt. That
the
was
stag,
not in
the hunt. Yeah,
And they also
the
say
road.
was
that
there.
it's based on like almost like a textbook, is what you're reading.
Well, we're
but,
getting the
like this is like
details.
the real story. So like
Yes,
that's why there would be
Yeah,
deviation.
it's told as like a historical story, but this is more
Whoa!
trying to bounce. Oh, I fucked it up.
Whoa.
Pull your end in.
For what?
It's all fuck. It's out of whack here. You see? There you go. Yeah, the changes that they
Fucked
made
it
were
up.
pretty good.
Fucked it up.
Lord's
Are you fucking this up,
we're
dude?
fine. Lord Beesbury.
Almost, yeah.
Oh, Beesbury gets his head slammed.
Almost.
Yo, Sir Crispin,
Crispin.
man, most
Sir Crispin
hated
Cole.
fucking guy. And,
Well-
and he's as hated as like Jamie
So
in terms of the fandom.
Lannister?
Yeah,
and he's also
Chris-
wearing a white cloak. So for me, that was really important.
and he's like a
because-
stand-up guy.
But you don't know like why he turns on Rhaenyra in the
'Cause he
books.
lo-
They say
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
it was
it
this,
just
maybe it was
happens.
that. Now you know like what
They slept
poisoned
together.
him against her. Even though it's like you're a fucking pussy, shut up. He could have been freaking clapping the queen and fucking she could have been fathering his
How-
children and everybody could have been happily ever after.
I mean, he hit it first, dude.
He
Am
did
I
it.
wrong?
Yeah, but then he fucking was
Not
gonna kill
wrong.
himself over like an idiot.
Just
So
an asshole.
Caught
And
too
you know
many
what's funny about that
feelings.
scene too? I noticed in that scene, it's very deliberate in how long it's taking. Like he had
Yes.
many opportunities to be like, no,
Yeah.
She's like peeling off each piece of
She
armor.
wasn't taking no for an answer. She was definitely pulling.
Oh,
he was dragging
he
his feet, but he gave in.
Listen, I'm not fucking saying no.
I'm
I'm just saying, Mr. fucking High and Mighty had every opportunity to be like, listen, no, we shouldn't. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fucking
Took a
this,
vow, though,
my
dude.
vows,
Yeah.
I fucking, blah, 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 my white cloak. No, she's taking off the cloak. She's unclasping the fucking
You don't just
the
stop being a
neck
knight,
bead.
dude.
Yeah, you don't just stop.
Which is also an attention to detail because if it was
So
a
he is a
Hollywood
pussy.
movie, he would have been fucking drunk and it's all off. In real life,
True.
armoring up and fucking taking your armor
gotta
off, you need
tie
a
it-
squire
it's
to
tied
pull your
on.
shit off for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
So
it's authentic, and it's, again, a device to tell you he wanted to.
That was
there
a
was
great
no
episode.
fucking...
That whole episode was great.
yeah, I mean every episode.
Name a bad episode.
Every episode that I
can't look back
saw,
and go,
I
"Oh, like
enjoyed.
that."
There was a couple of like
Episode
surprises.
7 was a little light, but that's
I don't remember which.
Trying to remember what...
There was a couple of surprises too,
The
like
first
when
time jump
Lenore
episode.
survives.
Oh, the big one.
The big time jump, I was able to follow it no problem because they say everything out loud, like "Oh, Rhaenyra," like they expose for the audience what's going on. But
yeah, but it was a little.
sister, Jaime Lannister.
Yeah,
He's a
yep,
Kingsguard.
exactly.
Like, that's how they did it.
Yeah.
In season
I also
1.
hated that I saw that online before it happened because I kind of knew that they were going to do that, and I was
What?
like, "Oh shit!"
the time jumps and the different
Oh,
actresses
yep.
and shit.
Well, you got to keep in mind whoever's playing Rhaenyra now was the one that was cast for Rhaenyra.
Negroni. Spagliato.
Then they were like, "Wait, we got to cast
Prosecco
somebody
in
to
it.
play the younger one." So it's not like Millie Alcock was the star that they hired, and now this new girl's taking over. This new girl this new
It
Rhaenyra
was all meant to be.
was the one
they
that
wrote
was planned,
So-
and then thankfully we also got Millie Alcock.
They
That's the
also
way that I see it.
haven't written out the idea that in season 2 there may be callbacks. There may be scenes that involve Millie
flashbacks with
Alcock.
them. I feel like they'll do that.
Yes,
yeah.
please.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
they
really
might-
get confusing then. Jesus.
They'll
I mean,
do it
now
with
we
it.
know them. They're established.
They don't usually
so-
do flashbacks, but
And certain characters stay the same. Sir Crispin and fucking Damon, like, you know who they are.
they would have never been able to make Millie Alcock look old. I just don't see how they could have done that.
I think HBO needs to just book season 2 through fucking 4 now. So the whole reason you said before you're upset that it's going to take a little bit longer.
No, they
The
could have
head-
made her. They could have made her not look old, but they could have made the girl who was supposed to be younger, Rhaenyra, look younger than her. And
she
then it
looks
would've-
pretty fucking young though.
I mean, you could make shit happen, bro.
Oh, I just meant
Her hair, the way he does her makeup, it could have. They could have.
We're talking like
meant to
several
your
years in
point
childbirth, but
of
whatever.
the
you know,
2
that's what you
years
want.
it's going to take to come with the next one. So
They're also living like medieval times. It's not like they're getting like fucking facial creams and shit. You know what I mean?
they're fucking
They're
the
gonna
get
richest
weathered, you
people
know, it's
on the
gonna happen.
planet.
Gonna
They
happen.
have fucking scented oils.
But I know where you're going.
All right,
with
so
this, yeah.
so originally this first season, HBO canceled the first spin-off show. There was a Age of Heroes show that they were gonna do. They put like fucking 40 mil into this pilot, and it ended up never seeing the light of day. They were not fully confident in this show's ability to rekindle, so they waited till the first episode debuted to book the next season. You know what I mean? So when we saw episode 1 and they saw the numbers, they go,
Viewership, yeah.
boom, season 2's in the books. Fuck that. Book 2 through 4 and start filming everything fucking now. Get season 2 in the can. Now they did say
Yeah.
today,
There's
don't
still-
expect House of the Dragon in 2023, but
No.
expect it early 2024.
Right.
They want it out,
Yeah.
no doubt. So just sign the fucking 4 seasons now. Do 40 episodes.
Make the pipeline.
Set it up so that
Lay
way
out
the
the
actresses and actors are the
They
right
probably
fucking
are now.
age, and we can get these things. So we'll have a 2024, 2025, and 2026. That sounds fucked.
That'd be
up
50.
to
We're
say.
going for a few years.
What?
I mean,
You're
close.
not gonna be 50. You'll be 40 fucking 2, 3. So anyway,
Am I dead yet?
that's what they need to do. I think they need to just confirm, yeah, we're going to do 4 seasons of this long, so that way the audience knows what to expect. They can start writing this shit, and it can come out at a pace that's acceptable to the audience. Because if you do 2 years, 1.5, they're going to get older. It's just going to take too fucking long.
Well, that's
It's
the
gonna be
problem with
way
the
too drawn out.
Mandalorian too. Like I want a fucking Mandalorian season every year, but it's like
Well, COVID. They were ready to launch that
They
now
had
for
Star
holiday.
Wars every year though.
Yeah,
The last 4 years we've had
we've
Star
been well
Wars.
saved.
anime.
How many of
I
our
do need to check
episodes are
out that
Star
new
Wars
cartoon
related?
that
Tales
they
of the
came out
Jedi.
with.
No, we had
Oh,
Mando
short.
1,
It's
Mando
very
2,
short.
Boba Fett, Andor. Now we have Ahsoka next year.
Right.
Every year we've had a
Right.
live-action Star Wars show.
And Disney knows it's a property.
And they trickle
can
in
invest
the animated stuff in there in between.
And I think it points back to what we were talking about, even with DC. There's new leadership at Time Warner, which Umbrellas, HBO, DC, all of this shit.
Here's what DC needs: TV shows, not movies.
Yeah.
They have HBO Max contract. James Gunn is there now at the head of the helm.
They did Peacemaker.
Penguin show is coming out.
That'll be
They
good.
did
Green
Peacemaker.
Lantern show.
Peacemaker got better reviews than some of the major motion
Marvel.
pictures from
Oh.
Superman to Batman and things like that.
Yeah.
In terms of like viewership, in terms of like popularity and things like that. So just give us a Batman show. Let's go back to
Oh my
1960s and give us a Batman show.
That'd be
Jesus, I
interesting.
watched
You know,
the shit
give us
out
a
of that.
Superman show. We've had multiple Superman shows. Smallville. We've had all these Superman shows. Give us a really good Superman show and tie it in. Do what Marvel's does on Disney
I
Plus.
wish they could bring back Batman the Animated Series.
We're going off the rails here.
We
Hold
are
on
off
a
the rails,
second.
but
When
real quick.
when you were going,
I got a
could
question
not
for.
fucking get a word in edgewise.
I got-
I'm giving my goddamn rating and my justification.
You gave it a
What were you
9.2.
gonna say?
I
he
wanted.
wants to
I
keep
wanted to
going.
hear like, did you feel satiated by the ending of the last episode?
So, yes, the reason they had to cut it here is because all I'll say is obviously there's going to be repercussions and a reaction to what happened in the finale.
Oh, fuck.
There's going to be a retaliation for that.
Sorry, Rob.
And
I
that
mean,
happened.
they
Didn't say
pan the
anything.
camera, turn to her face, and she's like, "Fuck
Even if
this."
you don't even know how, and you're still going to be like, whoa.
There's obviously going to be retaliation, and something happens, and all I'll say is that they had to cut it off here because they couldn't fit this thing in as a season finale. This is gonna what happens as a reaction is gonna be an
The launch of the
insane
next
War.
season premiere.
Yeah.
That
If they
first
do-
episode is
if-
gonna be
If that's what
huge.
happens. If that's what
Huge.
happens. I really know what you're saying.
it's a fundamental
She just
part of that
literally just
story.
literally
It's
just
gonna
come
happen.
with the
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention, though, with
'Cause the
why
Marines
I'm
are like,
rating
"Hey,
it
get
so
him up."
high is that, not only do they deserve like points and credit for redeeming the franchise and bringing people back, casual viewers even too,
Yep.
but to tell a story that is multi-generational,
Yep.
where the character at the start is now a mom who has kids, and those kids start having kids.
Yep.
Like it's
Never
very
seen it
hard to
before in the
tell
show.
something like that, and
movie.
it was bound to cause some confusion and discomfort with the changing actors and whatever it may be. But to actually pull that off, and I think they did it pretty well. I think, and the casting
Also-
too, the way that everybody looks just like them.
Matt Smith, to credit Damon, the character, and Matt Smith, the actor, and Viserys, fucking carries a lot of that show.
Oh, their
He
their
shoulders a
relationship.
shitload. Even when he's just like looming in the corner looking. And
I love that
laughing and
he's like
shit.
a listener.
He can
yeah.
keep his tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, he fucking that
So
helps it so much.
I'll tell you.
Bastard!
Yeah, he could have ended it there and maybe wouldn't have lost his
Bastard
head.
would have
but-
lost the tongue.
Yeah, the
Whore,
the
lose
whore,
your
he
fucking
deserved
head.
that.
It's funnier is when they burn him, they kind of put his head. back
Honestly,
together
that was the
with his-
first quotable thing from the show.
There
I
was
feel
some
like
other
that
good
was the
quotes out of
first
there.
one of the season that you could really.
I haven't
quote.
done a lot of rewatching, but I think Viserys has some of the best quotes in
Viserys,
the whole show.
Viserys was not even a
The
notable
blood of
character.
the dragon runs thick. Then
was
why
not
do you
even-
cut me so deep? He's like
you cut me so
Shakespearean.
deep?
It's so
Yeah.
fucking good.
He's not even really that interesting of a character in the books. And Patty
No.
Cousin, and they
Patty
kept
Constantine.
talking about him when the show started. I'm like, what's so special about this guy?
Viserys, the
And he did
peaceful-
so well. And I'll tell you, the one point where I actually teared up watching this, and I got emotional and felt something, was when he crawled up to when he dragged his
Oh,
ass to the throne.
That's great.
And even then, that didn't do it for me like that. But
The throne. the
when his crown dropped,
Yeah.
and then Damon was there,
improv, by the way.
which was apparently
Amazing.
improv, and Damon picks up the crown and puts it on his
Crowns
head,
him.
and they looked at each other.
Yeah, that was
That made
powerful.
me like tear up because it was like, despite whatever shit that they've been through,
Brothers.
and whatever you want to say, he's a piece of shit and
Still gonna
fucked
fuck
his
your daughter.
daughter.
Shit.
They're he was right. Damon is right.
Damon.
Him
Again.
and Rhaenyra should have been together from the start. None of this shit would be happening.
That's
If they
true,
married
yeah,
them
the
together,
King Regent with the Queen,
their
or
blood
he could have been the
together.
king and-
Damon's,
but we haven't gotten the Nettles and all this other shit.
there's a
Anyway.
lot of stuff to come. I'm really excited, and
Oh.
I think that they really provide us with a good launching point for the next season and the seasons ahead. So yeah,
Phil,
it's-
I just want to refill as a great point because he says, as an audience member, once he learned that the book was told from a historical perspective, it's a history book, he completely bought into the time jumps.
Yeah.
Because he kind of understood, like, oh, I see they're trying to tell something that is over the course of 30, 40 years.
It's like written by like a professor, but it's a maester. But that's the idea. Is it's a history book.
Well, to
and
be
it's-
You are my political headache.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
funny
Dale.
too. That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a good quote.
Yeah, Patty Constantine. I feel like I say
Patty
Constantine.
Constantine.
he was in Peaky Blinders, cheeky bastard.
Who, Matt Smith?
No, Patty Constantine Viserys, the king, is in Peaky Blinders.
My dad watches.
He's a
Peaky
priest,
Blinders.
I think, and I saw a shot of
He
him.
loves that show.
So overall, very
I'm
happy
sated.
with everything.
I'm very sated. Yeah, I'm full. I'm happy. I have no
I'll
complaints.
watch it again.
I'm sure people
definitely.
will start complaining about something fucking tomorrow, but I loved it, and I'm glad that it seems like a lot of people loved it. And even my fucking girlfriend's watching it, which she didn't ever watch
did
Game
not
of
like Game of
Thrones.
Thrones?
She refused to watch
Oh.
that, but she watched this, and I think she
Now
enjoyed
you
it.
gotta go back
so
and watch Game of Thrones.
I'm
That's
gonna
what I said
try.
everybody was gonna do.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna end this, and you're gonna That's the
And then
point.
you're gonna get to the end
technically.
again and be like,
I know, man.
It's not as bad. It's not as bad when you
You know what's
rewatch it.
interesting
It's-
now?
don't watch the
Now
last
with
episode.
everything that's happening in House of the Dragon, now you're gonna start to understand a little bit more of like why Daenerys, in terms of what the pacing is, what's wrong with Game of Thrones. We're not gonna go down this fucking avenue again, but I'm just
Be
saying.
here all night.
Now, when you look at some of the decisions that are going to be made in House of the Dragon and the way the Targaryens are, it becomes even more obvious of why Daenerys does what she does and becomes who she becomes. Again, it's just a pacing problem for the audience, and it just needed more time to steep and marinate with her getting to this kind of off mindset. But we're going to see Rhaenyra go, into territory. There are no heroes in this fucking story. I really don't think at all.
That was the point that I wanted to really make, was that to your point earlier, Rob, where there's no heroes and villains. In the books, it is more so like I am very pro Black Council, Alicent's a bitch, Aemon One Eye's a piece of shit. Whereas in the show,
Otto Hightower's the man.
no, he's a piece of shit in both aspects. But whereas in the show, it's like Aemon One Eye kills his his nephew, and it's like, ooh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. That surprised me, because in the books, it's like, no, he meant to do it. He's a piece of shit, and he wanted to kill him. So that was one big thing I didn't like. And then Alicent too. Alicent is a horrible person in the books. In the show, it's like
She's a horrible person in the books, told from the perspective of two men, one a maester and the other mushroom.
that was
being
on her side.
Oh, really?
Pretty sure he was with her. Yeah.
Alright. So it's again in those books. It's told from a
It's not-
retelling. It's
no, it's-
not the.
It's not really like that.
First
No,
person.
it's just the way that George wrote them. It's not written like, oh, these people were pro-black or pro-green. It's almost written objectively. Even Mushroom is pretty objective. But anyway, we can go hours
We're
and
2
hours.
hours deep,
Yeah,
boys.
well go hours
1
and
hour
hours for Game
show.
of Thrones discourse.
It's not
1
an hour
year.
show. Who the fuck said
It's
that?
a 1 year show.
Should be a
It's
3
a
years.
1 year
3
show.
hours.
Hey,
we need 3 hours. We need.
We didn't
guests.
start at fucking
We're
9
gonna
to
have
10
guests.
p.m.
We're gonna
What
have
are we,
breaks.
raw now?
We're gonna have authentic pee breaks so we can leave while you guys watch something else. Yeah,
We're gonna be doing
we're bringing
gaming,
some other
more
shit to
gaming
this.
for sure. Joe's gonna play some Street Fighter, right, Joe?
It's a little bit of ways from that, but yeah, I'm probably going to start playing some Modern Warfare as well.
I got
might
a Super
even do my-
Nintendo. We should get some Street Fighter going.
Some more Sea of Thieves. We were enjoying
Got the
that.
adapter.
Hey, Josh.
You're not going to
Thanks,
like
brother.
playing Street Fighter with me.
I want to address Phil's question real quick. I know we're going to kind of wrap this thing up, but Phil did ask, what do you think of the idea that the books are wrong because they are written out
Wrong.
of context by maesters? Chris probably has the best perspective because he read and listened and read and listened and
They're
listened.
not really wrong because like
They were
everything
there, right? These are
it's-
people who were there, present in the.
Well, no. Sometimes like Mushroom will give an account, and they're like, Mushroom wasn't even there, so how the fuck would Mushroom know? But
Okay, there we go.
they
This-
mention it like that, so they call out in the book the fact that there are inaccuracies or multiple records. It's
We
almost
know from our experience with the maesters, though, they're very biased. They're very sexist. They're very bigoting. They're very dismissive of,
Oh,
especially when it's
not all.
rumors.
Maester Lewin was a good guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean kind of the high tower maesters, the ones from Old Town and the ones
Yeah.
that exist down in King's Landing. Like they're just so very set in their
Grand
ways. Even when they're trying to heal Viserys, they're using these techniques and they won't even.
Yeah, the kid's
Accept
like, oh,
that-
what if we try this? Or like, no,
No, fuck you. Shut
should
up. you know?
die. So that
So
tens of thousands.
you kind of can apply that to the way the books are written, where there's
You're great.
And even George, funny enough, going to watch him last night, we get more insight when you watch the author talk about these things. That's what he wants. He wants ambiguity. He wants room for interpretation. He doesn't have definitive answers to every little thing. Fans, us, whether it's Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, you name it, we start to apply and nitpick and create and conjure things that might not even
Theorize.
fucking be there.
Yeah.
And
Bran's the Night King.
it's fun to do, but in reality, they're just writing this book,
No, it's
and
just
they don't
Bran the
even
broken storyline.
know what's going to actually come out of it in terms of like what people might perceive in a certain scene. They can't really. It's too broad. It's too much to get every little detail. So that interpretation, that room for error, is great because it gives the audience that debate, that time for us to do this and to really kind of make our no, I like George Washington. No, Thomas Jefferson. You know, whatever. You name your fucking historical figure. Caesar was the best king.
There's multiple
Yeah.
perspectives.
Yes, and
for
you can
everything.
find all these reasons why they
Better not be
weren't.
Columbus up there.
Better not be fucking Columbus up there.
Hey, Columbus is a good example,
The
though.
holiday, trying to take it away from.
Columbus is the perfect example.
Oh, hell's my man, my upstate brother, down on the burnt hills of fucking upstate New York. Oh, we love you guys. Really appreciate everybody tuning in to
yeah.
this.
Phil Dunphy, another one.
Day one.
Yeah, day one.
Day one's here.
John
with us.
Cena's with us now.
Big super face. He's a big super fan. He liked our music, so. Dun, 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 dun.
Upstate Craze. Appreciate you
Rob,
joining, Zach.
what's next for us? And take us home, bud.
Yeah, what the fuck we got coming up? We got some shit coming up. We got a
So-
trip coming up.
Oh yeah, so November
Minnesota.
5th. If you guys were on Long Island, November 5th, I'm going to be doing the Cask Ale Festival
Day of the
at
week
Blue
is that?
Point Brewery. It's a Saturday,
Okay.
and I am going to be there as Peter Griffin. And
Let's go.
they're making exclusive Pawtucket Patriot ales for the event. So it's going to be a single cask made for the event to go along with my appearance. So you can actually drink Pawtucket Patriot ales with the real life Peter Griffin.
Wow.
There you go.
Wait, that's you?
Oh my God, it's him. The fat guy with a
That's
family.
Peter Griffin. He's on YouTube. That's crazy.
He's on TikTok now. I've been doing
You
it
better
long
be on
enough now.
TikTok, son of a
Hot.
bitch.
Now I'm Peter Griffin from TikTok. That's the funniest thing to me. It's like, God, I've been doing this so long. It was like, you're the guy from YouTube. You're the guy from Instagram.
You're the guy from that VHS
Remember
tape.
MySpace?
Yeah.
God. But,
And then we're going to
So-
Minnesota?
yeah, so December 3rd, we got to iron out more of the details, but there's going to be a mall convention in Minnesota.
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 Is
the
that
body.
I'm going to be a holy man in
Ventura.
an unholy land because I love the Green Bay Packers.
Is that
Fuck
a-
the
with me is
Vikings.
My handler.
Is that going to be at the Mall of America?
Not the Mall of America, but it's
Because the Mall of America was a site for the very first Monday
The
Night Show.
tombstone on the escalator.
Yeah,
Is that Penn Station? That
that's
fight.
Penn Station.
Yeah.
Mall of America was the first Nitro.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that's going to be a hell of a trip, and that's going to round out 2022 for me. And then
we still got more episodes
2023, God knows. You know, if you guys are out there and you want me to appear at a con near you, reach out to your con runners and
Tell
them
Dragon
you want to
Con
real life
to
Peter
get this guy out there. What the fuck?
That would
Guy's
be
the
fucking
biggest
great.
draw. I've never seen such a man of the people.
My problem is that I'm not.
Do you have
broke,
any
I'm
footage of
shattered,
this?
So like,
What,
to be able to
New
go
York Comic Con?
places-
Yeah.
Brand shattered.
I didn't spend a lot of time with him there, honestly, because I was with Sam.
Can I gotta mention
he was doing his own thing.
at
I
Comic
wasn't
Con.
being paid to do that
I want
shit,
this.
motherfucker.
I want this documentary done by next year.
Jesus fucking Christ. Hey, Phil,
Documentary, see?
Joe wants another fucking real life
Not
Peter
a fucking
Griffin
10, not
documentary,
a 10
baby.
minute fucking
wants an
YouTube
hour
video.
long one.
I want
he
a
wants an
fucking
hour
movie. I want a
long
Netflix
movie.
fucking.
I don't want to watch a movie about me.
Nobody. You don't want to even. It's not about you. It's not
It's not- it's about us.
It's literally about
It's not
me.
about you.
Phil, we'll hire you, bud.
Nobody
Whatever,
Nobody wants
whatever
to
it
watch
takes.
a whole
Let's make it
fucking season of
happen.
me. Yeah.
We're looking for ads too.
Oh,
Anybody
God.
want to
Yeah, we're
Bigger
advertise?
disappointment
We wanna
than
keep the
fucking
show
We'll sell
going.
us.
the end of
We
Game
can
of Thrones.
fucking sell a pair of shoes to a fucking
listen.
guy with no feet.
I shave my pubes. Where's Manscaped at?
Yeah,
you know
hey,
what the
Manscaped.
fuck? I drink fucking tons of beer.
Broken Skull sponsor.
Yeah,
us.
hey, Stone Cold Steve
Stone
Austin,
Cold,
El
if you're out
Segundo,
there,
you out
what?
there? What?
All right.
Listen, I got one.
What?
I got two.
What?
And then you got Chris with the
I drink
Taco
more
Bell
bit.
cup, so you fucking
Taco
Yeah,
Bell.
hey, Taco
Where's
Bell.
Taco Bell at?
Listen,
Somebody fucking sponsor us so we can keep doing this shit.
And
not
they're the
go to
ones that-
basement
I drink
anymore.
Celsius. It's really good stuff.
We really
paying
want to
for a
quit our
studio
jobs
for
so we
us.
have more time to dedicate towards this.
Yeah,
as I fuck
create
up
content.
the scene.
So
on
I can
the
actually
screen
watch the
afterwards.
shows.
Yeah, maybe Rob could actually watch us do this, and we could have more fun with you guys.
Yeah.
I think we'd all love the opportunity to do this more. We always have a great time. The biggest stresses are that you have your regular life, and we're trying to squeeze this in the best
Pat
we can.
McAfee, help us.
And somehow,
Pat, we love you.
every fucking week we're missing a cable. So
Back to
Yeah,
Just
there's
every
always
week, help
something
us.
missing. We don't have a studio.
But
We
you
don't
know
have a
what? If you
space.
look
Mr. Beast,
back,
I don't care
really-
who it is, help.
If you look back
Hulkamania.
at where we started,
We've grown exponentially.
we've grown a lot since our episode 0, where we had no mics and fucking
We
like
sounded like hell.
6 shitty cameras, and
We still had a fun time, though.
that was a
we
good
had a great time.
that episode 0
That's
was
the
good.
rawest episode,
really
and that's
good.
why it's the
That was
best.
good.
Raw.
Yeah.
Now we're on SmackDown, and
It's a little bit more, it's sometimes you get a little over polished, and you got to.
We're here for it. The
Rob,
people
thank
are here
the
for
fans.
it.
Take us home, bud.
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for 1 year of the Break Room podcast. Thank you to, Tricky Ricky and Phil and so many of you guys for actually
Hells.
tuning in.
Adam.
Hells. Adam.
Zach
Yeah.
From the
Yo,
dungeon.
all of
Zach
our
did,
boys.
You guys are all fucking amazing.
Thanks for joining us.
Slaughterhouse, everybody.
Slaughterhouse,
Like,
big time.
from the
I,
dungeon.
Ryan,
Whispers.
And thank you to
D-Rock.
Sergeant Slaughter
Lady
for
Whispers.
doing the very first
Slaughter.
shout out for our show.
Can't understate.
Air in the beginning.
Sarge is the man. We love
sweetheart of a
Sarge.
man.
We hope we
And,
can get him on here.
Here's to another year of the Break Room podcast. And if you're a fan of the show, please like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, snoochie boochies, and may the force be with you.